A millennium-back nightmare creatures from the black abyss tore into our reality. Just when extinction looked certain, the monuments descended. These mysterious monoliths gifted humanity a lifeline supernatural abilities known as professions. Mankind finally had the weapons to clap back. After grinding levels for generations, humans managed to force the beasts back into the abyss and retake their territory. Huaxia rebuilt civilization, establishing massive fortress cities around the 9 monuments. Now every year a grand ceremony decides which high schoolers will step up as the next generation of defenders against the darkness. Because let's be real, the beasts aren't gone. They're just waiting in the shadows. To end this war permanently, the youth need to get absolutely cracked. Year 53, job transfer day at the Lintian City branch. An official takes center stage, kicking off the ritual. The tension is palpable. In moments, the monument will scan everyone's soul and assign a class based on raw talent. Combat or support, it doesn't matter. Everyone is drafted to serve Huaxia. The fate of the nation is literally on their backs. The students are vibrating with hype. 18 years of grinding textbooks for this single moment of awakening. One kid is praying for a combat class, dreaming of guild invites and fat paychecks. His neighbor hits him with a reality check. The warrior path isn't a walk in the park. Their school's combat awakening rate is a coin flip 50%. Then their gaze shifts to the back of the crowd, snickering. Lin Tianhao is straight up snoozing through the ceremony. The whole school knows him as the resident slacker. If he pulls even a support role, call the Vatican because that's a miracle. One guy jokes that a trash-tier job like Beast Tamer fits him like a glove. Tianhao finally snaps awake. He's the bottom feeder of Lin Tianhai, dead last in rankings. But here's the twist. He's an isekai protagonist. After crossing dimensions to get here, he's wondering what destiny has in store. The heckler strolls over smirking. Yo, what class are you gunning for? Tianhao shoots back a grin. I'm thinking S-rank talent, maybe a hidden class. The group erupts in laughter. Keep dreaming, loser. They bet he won't even land a life skill class. His last potential test was a solid C. Tianhao knows the odds are trash. His stats are abysmal. Strength 2.9, Intelligence 2.8, Constitution 1.6, Spirit 1.7, Agility 1.5, and that C-rank potential. Still, he believes in the underdog story. He traveled across worlds for this. He's got main character energy. Miracles happen, right? That's the only reason he's holding on to hope. Suddenly, it's showtime for Class 2 Lintian High. The roll call begins. First up, Wang Dong. In his head, he's already visualizing the flex. He wants Tianhao to witness his glory. The proctor explains the drill. Process takes 5 seconds. Might hurt a little. Suck it up. Dong slams his hand on the monument. Blinding light explodes. Success. He unlocks the warrior class. He's hyped. The system interface pops up, talent rank C. The proctor gives him props, saying C rank is actually elite for a civilian and wishes him luck. He points Dong toward the guild center, where the veterans will help him grind his new skills. The girls go wild as he struts off stage. Don't forget us when you're famous. The guys are seething with jealousy. Warrior class equals a golden ticket for life. While basking in the attention, Dong accidentally shoulders Tianhao. Oh, my bad. Didn't see you there. Classic bully move. It's just the class deadweight after all. Dong has always tormented him. And now that he's powered up, Tianhao knows the bullying is about to level up too. The crowd tightens the circle. They call Dong out for the non-apology, but mostly to pile on. Tianhao is so annoying to look at. Dude probably thinks that long face makes him look mysterious. Dong waves them off like a magnanimous king. I'm in too good a mood to let trash vibe check me. Drinks on me tonight, boys. Tianhao watches him leave. How does a jerk like that land a warrior class? It just makes him more anxious about his own role. The peanut gallery keeps running their mouths, convinced Tianhao is about to flop hard compared to Dong. Next up, Lin Tianhao. The proctor's voice cuts through. He walks to the monument, silent prayers screaming in his head. He doesn't need glory, he just needs a class that keeps him alive. He holds his breath. Palm meets stone. Lightning arcs violently. Seeing the FX, a spark of hope ignites in his chest. Is this his moment? The turnaround. The crowd holds its breath as the light dims. The proctor looks sympathetic. Brace yourself, kid. The result, Summoner. Tianhao's face drops. The room explodes into laughter. Summoner, that's the sewer tier of combat classes. Technically a fighter, but practically useless. Summoner's total money pit. You burn cash raising pets that barely fight back. No wonder everyone calls it a garbage tier class. The pity in their eyes was real, bro. Just pulled the short straw. His future looked bleak, until a glitch in reality flashed before him. A holographic alert shattered the gloom. Awakening detected. True identity, Abyssal Lord. Boom. A random SSS rank talent was incoming. The breakdown was insane. On this abyssal path, every 10 levels unlocks a fresh god-tier SSS Abyss talent. Tianhao's brain short-circuited. Do the math, hit level 100, and he's stacking 10 ultimate skills. That's broken. The facilitator handed him a ticket, but his eyes were glued to the system interface. The gotcha spin began. Jackpot. The system flashed. Congratulations. He just rolled the SSS talent, Demonic Sacrifice. Here's the kicker. Demonic Sacrifice lets him burn his own max HP permanently to power level a summon instantly. It doesn't just level them up, it twists them into demons infused with hellish, godlike power. Even in demon form, they can still grind XP and evolve. But the price tag, steep. That health isn't coming back. But wait, he's a summoner. He stands in the back. If his pets are absolute monsters, who needs a health bar? Plus, he can stack HP gear to pad the stats. The ratio was simple, sacrifice 100 max HP, and the beast gains a full level. He's sitting on 1000 health, keep 100 just to stay alive, and he could instantly rocket a summon straight to level 9. It's a gamble, sure, but a calculated one. He resolved to play it smart. To the crowd, his silence looked like despair. The lady misread the room and tried to offer sympathy, mumbling about other career options. Tianhao gave a polite nod, promising he'd carve his own path. The audience wasn't buying it. Eyes filled with pity, someone yelled for him to just go home and process the L. Tianhao knew the stigma, summoners are trash. But the fire was already lit. He was going to be the apex summoner period. Back at the crib, his sister hit him with the big question. His reply was one word, summoner. Her face dropped. Fresh out of the shower, clutching a towel, she looked more hurt than he was. Tianhao grabbed the towel off her shoulder and started drying her hair like old times. She swore that next year, she'd awaken as a mage and carry him. He laughed and tossed the towel back. Worry about yourself, kid. She pouted, accusing him of bullying her, but the vibe was light. Buzz. A notification lit up his phone school assembly. He told her he had to bounce. Curious, he headed back. The teacher was beaming, announcing that this year's job transfer stats were straight fire. The roster 5 warriors, 8 mages, 11 supports, and exactly 1 summoner. Dong, sitting right behind him, sneered. Trash class for a trash human, he scoffed. The class joined the roast session, convinced Tianhao's career was dead on arrival. But since his class was unique, the teacher slid him a Summoning for Dummies manual. Tianhao took it with a nod. My door is open if you struggle, the teacher added before waving him back to his seat. The book was a brick. Tianhao weighed it in his hand. Yup, confirmed. Summoners really are the bottom of the food chain. The teacher cleared his throat for the next announcement. The school needed combat data. Every awakened student was about to be put under the microscope. Don't make me look bad, he warned. The class shuffled to the training grounds. It was testing time. First up, a mage. He blasted the target score 73. Solid. Then Dong stepped up looking cocky. He swung his greatsword, wham. Score 89. Top of the leaderboard. Then they called Tianhao. He'd skimmed the summoning chant 5 minutes ago. 0 practice runs. But hey, faith over fear. He cracked the book open and started chanting. Suddenly, the wind picked up. A gale force wind whipped through the yard, kicking up a blinding dust cloud. Nobody could see a thing. The debris cleared, revealing his terrifying beast. A literal blob on the floor. Tianhao froze. The class roared with laughter. The thing was adorable, squishy, and looked utterly harmless. Great for mopping the hallway, someone jeered. The slime wiggled over and hugged Tianhao's leg. He stared at the jelly blob in disbelief. He pulled up the stats window, praying for a glitch. Level 1, 500 health, 9 attack power, skills, acid, and spit. Tianhao's face fell. 9 damage, that wouldn't bruise a peach. The teacher hushed the cackling crowd to check the official combat score. All eyes were glued to the board, but it only spat back a single pathetic digit 9. The silence in the room shattered as the class erupted into mocking laughter. The instructor tossed him a pity speech, trying to soften the blow. But Tianhao wasn't done. He locked eyes with the teacher and demanded a rerun. Surprisingly, the teacher gave the green light. Time to flip the script. Tianhao triggered his class exclusive, Sacrifice. He was about to gamble it all to permanently demonize and upgrade his summon. He dumped 200 points just to test the waters. The rest of the class watched, scratching their heads at what looked like a desperate move. To them, he was just flailing. A loser is a loser, right? Tianhao's health bar tanked, bleeding from 1,000 down to 800. Suddenly, crimson lightning cracked the air, slamming into the slime. The creature's body convulsed, twisting and morphing. The mockery stopped. Everyone leaned in. The transformation grew violent. When the smoke cleared, Tianhao wasn't standing next to a puddle anymore. It was a demonized slime evolved to level 3. Stats jacked. 120, health 120, attack, and a kit featuring corrosive slime, slime spit, and the menacing dance of the demon. The cute blue blob was gone, replaced by a blood-red beast sporting razor-sharp horns. Tianhao gave the command. The slime launched, defying gravity. In a blur of red motion, it blitzed forward, landing a devastatingly clean hit on the target. Head snapped to the scoreboard. The display flickered wildly like it was frying its own circuits. The entire room froze in pure shock. The numbers settled 120. Impossible. The crowd couldn't process the sheer power they just witnessed. A score that high shouldn't exist for him, especially since Dong, the class ace, only pulled an 89. Dong's jaw hit the floor. His brain refused to compute this reality. Even the legendary war god of Huaxia Fang Chong Yun only clocked a 101 back in his prime. Tianho hitting 120, no way. Dong immediately cried foul, screaming that Tianho rigged the machine since he took the test twice. His goons jumped in, echoing the accusation. A jump from 9 to 120, that reeks of a scam, they shouted. Internally, Tianho smirked. He did interfere, but only by buffing his own summon legally. The teacher, however, admitted the jump was suspicious. Tianho stood his ground, swearing he played fair. The teacher marched over to run diagnostics on the device. A jagged, discolored glitch tore across the screen. After a closer look, the teacher delivered the verdict: critical hardware malfunction. Tianho was cleared of cheating. Dong let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. It was just a glitch. Of course, his ego stitched itself back together. There was no universe where that scrub outclassed him. But then he asked the real question: what about the score? One of his minions piped up instantly, insisting the valid score was the first one, 9 points, since the machine wasn't broken then. The class nodded in agreement. The teacher ruled that due to the error, the 120 was voided. But he wasn't failing. He'd have to retake the exam later. Tianho blinked, surprised he was even getting a third chance. A wave of protests erupted. Students claimed the teacher was playing favorites, but the instructor shut them down cold. Broken machine means test over. Period. Tianho and the others left in the queue would retest once repairs were done. One of the lackeys flared up, eyes glowing red like he was ready to throw hands right there. But Dong silenced him with a single icy stare. Dong sneered at his rival, spitting that even with 1,000 retakes, trash remains trash. Keep dreaming, loser, he scoffed. He signaled his crew to move out. Their destination, the level 1 Black Abyss. Tianho recognized the name. It was the standard rookie dungeon. Actually, that sounded perfect. He needed a live testing ground for his new demon pet. He decided to crash their party. The group left, and shortly after, a repairman arrived. He popped the machine open and found the internals completely fried. And a student did this. Looking at the wreckage, the staff wondered if a true monster had just awakened in their school. Nearby, a mysterious old man locked eyes on Tianho. He approached, mumbling that the kid's build was practically designed for summoning. That sentence hit Tianho like a truck. It triggered a sense of déjà vu, ringing a bell he couldn't quite place. He turned skeptical. "You talking to me, old man?" The stranger ignored the attitude and unveiled a staff, a top-tier summoner's weapon selling for 300 gold. Tianho raised an eyebrow. It looked like a glorified walking stick, and the price tag smelled like a total ripoff. But the merchant pressed on. He claimed he was only offering this deal because destiny pulled them together. For anyone else, the price would be over 1,000. Tianho gripped the wood, and instantly a surge of raw power coursed through his veins. With no guild nearby, loot like this was a unicorn. Doubts aside, he had to have it. The price remained 300 gold. The problem, Tianho's wallet only held 92. He tried to haggle, asking if the old guy would take 92 as a buyout. The merchant took the cash, but called it a deposit. The staff was reserved, locked down in Tianho's name. But he couldn't take it yet. To officially claim ownership, he had a quest to complete: reach the deepest pit of the level 1 Black Abyss maze, and secure a specific treasure. Only then would the weapon truly belong to him. Tianho wanted to bail, but the door was already shutting behind him. This felt way too much like spamming accept on a sketchy NPC quest without reading the dialogue. The old geezer shoved a crumpled paper in his face, claiming the secrets of the universe would unlock once he hit the deepest level. Classic bait. Then came the catch, he insisted. Tianho stamp it with his thumbprint. Tianho hesitated, asking why he was getting roped into some personal errand. But with no real choice, he stamped the contract. The old man's grin was pure nightmare fuel as he muttered, "Deal's a deal." Tianho walked away, taking the L. The moment he was out of earshot, a teacher rushed over to the old man, bowing low. Elder Feng. The teacher reported that the testing phase was suspended. The machine had completely bricked itself. He suggested the elder head back for now, but Feng's eyes lingered on the retreating boy. "Do you know that student?" The teacher nodded grimly. "One of my class." He couldn't hide the pity in his voice. The kid had drawn the ultimate short straw, a summoner class. That road only led to struggle. Elder Feng just nodded, silent. Cut to the entrance of the level 1 Black Abyss, where the temperature dropped to bone-chilling levels. A massive monolith loomed over them, housing the glowing portal. This was the Cold Valley Abyss. The rules were strict. You needed a full squad of 3 to 5 players, and it was level locked, 1 through 10 only. Try to sneak in outside that range. The Overseer deletes you from existence, instantly. Since the party requirement was hard-coded, Tianho knew soloing was off the table. He pulled up the holographic leaderboard. Monthly reset meant the top dogs took home serious loot. Right now, the number 1 spot belonged to a guy named Feng Cheng Yun. The prize for first place, a beginner chestplate boasting 30% armor, 20% magic resistance, and a flat boost of 120 max HP. That wasn't just gear. That was god-tier early game equipment. Tianho's eyes lit up. He was gunning for that top rank. Suddenly, a sneer broke his concentration. Yo, what's a bottom feeder like you doing here? A random scrub clocked Tianho, eyeing the abyss, and started trash-talking. You wouldn't last 10 seconds inside, loser. Tianho rolled his eyes. He was getting real tired of this broken record. It was Dong and his usual goon squad. Go home and farm potatoes, kid, Dong laughed. Tianho shot back cold as ice. Mind your own business. But they cornered him. You know this dungeon needs a minimum of 3 people, right? You even got any friends to invite? Dong puffed his chest, shouting for everyone to hear. We're rocking a C-rank warrior and 2 E-rank mages. He turned to the crowd. Who wants a free carry? The crowd went feral. Everyone swarmed them, desperate to hitch a ride. A priest practically begged to be picked. Dong selected 2 lucky winners, while his lackeys hyped him up, bragging about his insane strength, and how they were going to crush the leaderboard. The new recruits looked sweaty, suddenly realizing they might just be dead weight. The portal pulsed bam. It hawked up a pile of gnawed bones and a skull right at their feet. The rookies turned pale. Dong's lackeys smirked. Stick close, or that's your future. The leader barked an order, and they moved out. Tianho watched them vanish into the dark. Dong was walking toxicity, and those newbies were in trouble. They probably wouldn't make it out alive. Sure, resurrection exists, but the penalty hits different. It costs a fortune. That's why a deathless run is the only way to play. Time to advertise. Tianho activated his status window, flashing it above his head. It read, Level 1, S-rank summoner. That caught some eyes. A guy nudged his teammate. Whoa, S-rank, we should grab him. But his buddy immediately shut it down. Bro, use your brain. Summoners are trash tier S-rank or not. The girl in their group sighed, rolling her eyes. They thought they struck gold, but it was just fool's gold. Hard pass, they muttered, waiting for a real DPS. Then our MC spotted a lone figure. It was Li Shuai, a level 1 bard with E-rank talent. Oof, E-rank buffs are basically placebo effects. Useless until she hits D-rank. She looked like she'd been camping there for days, rejected by everyone. Tianho walked right up. Want to party up? She turned beet red. Tianho kept it professional, extending a hand. I'm making a run for the leaderboard, but nobody wants a summoner. Li Shuai knew the odds were basically 0. But the guy was handsome, and she wasn't about to let a cute boy slide. I'm in, she nodded. Introductions took 2 seconds. Tianho laid down the law. Once we're inside, I handle the aggro and the killing. You just focus on staying alive. Her eyes turned into anime hearts. The fact he was worried about her safety. She was floating on cloud 9. I won't be a burden, she chirped. Duo formed. Now they just needed a third wheel. Suddenly a fanboy scream ripped through the air. Goddess Qing neck snapped as Su Qing made her entrance. She was a total showstopper. Level 1, Druidess A-rank talent. The dudes were practically drooling. A mob rushed to invite her, but she looked bored out of her mind. It was a chaotic simp war. Tianho recognized the campus belle immediately, but then Qing froze. She locked eyes with him, walked straight over, and stopped dead in front of him. Her gaze wasn't just intense. It was predatory, drilling holes right through him. In her head, she was already running the calculations on a partnership. Then flipped the switch. She turned up the charm, going full uwu mode, to demand a spot on his squad. The fanboys watching were seething with pure jealousy. Tianho froze, totally cornered. Qing latched onto his hand, invading his personal bubble with zero chill. The mob started riot whispering, wondering why she'd pick a nobody, like him, out of everyone. Poor guy didn't even breathe, and he was already getting roasted. Qing wasn't having it, she snapped. I'm taken, beat it. She shut them down cold. Absolute savagery. She bolted for the portal. Tianho chased her down, needing answers. Why, my team? She dropped the truth bomb. She was gunning for the leaderboards, and needed 2 deadweights to carry. Dragging trash all the way to number 1 would prove she was untouchable. Okay, that stung a little. Less loitering, more moving, she barked. Tianho let out a heavy sigh. Great, they adopted a high-maintenance princess. Shuai whispered. Just the 3 of us. Yep, he confirmed. No better options anyway. He gave Shuai a heads up if it gets hairy. Bail immediately. No shame in running. They stepped through the gate straight into a frozen wasteland. The sub-zero temp hit them like a truck. Even Tianho's fancy frost gear was barely holding up against this chill. Shuai stepped up. She strummed her harp, wrapping the squad in a warm golden aura. Qing scoffed, looking away. Guess you're not total dead weight. Tianho cut the chatter. Clock's ticking. They were here to speedrun this thing. Boom. Glowing red eyes in the fog. Tianho locked on. It was a corrupted wandering wolf. Level 1. Stats check 400. HP 21. Attack 200. Agility 1 defense. Glass cannon build. Skills plague spread and weakened howl. Poor thing's soul was shackled to the cold valley abyss. A broken puppet. Just a standard tier mob. Qing clocked it instantly. Smirk loaded. Perfect warm-up. Flash of light, she morphed into spirit cat form. Seeing that half-beast mode in action, Tianho finally understood the Druidess hype. She launched, closing the gap in a blink. Claws out, slashing deep. Tianho watched the HP bar tick down, bleed effect. Those claws were doing serious damage over time. Shuai was stunned by the power display. Loot drop wolf pelts worth 20 gold plus fangs going for 10 a pop. Qing tossed the loot to Shuai. Payment for the heating bill earlier. I don't do favors, she clarified. Shuai beamed, totally charmed by the gesture. You're too serious, Shuai laughed. Qing signaled the advance. Tianho glanced back at the carcass one last time. Not long after, a trio of wolves blocked the path. No pausing. Qing went full feral, shifting forms and shredding through the pack like paper. But a 1 versus 3 is messy. She took hits but didn't slow down. Eyes on the prize. Shuai saw the blood and panicked. Let me heal you, Qing waved her off. Save your mana. Your heals are too weak. She chugged a potion instead. Tianho gave Shuai a reassuring shoulder pat. Don't worry about it. Onward. Heads on a swivel, then click. Qing stepped right onto a hidden magic circle. Bad vibes instantly. Her gut screamed, move. A massive warhammer crashed down from the ceiling. She barely rolled out of the kill zone. The thrower, a corrupted wandering zombie. An elite. Level 4. Beefy stats, 600 HP, 56 attack, 100 agility, 5 defense. Kit hammer strike, rotting stench devour. A rotting summoner that spawns those wolves. Brains were mush, but the aggression was maxed out. Qing realized they were in deep trouble. Shuai was shaking. Elites don't just spawn randomly. Why is this thing here? Tianho theorized Qing's wolf genocide probably triggered the boss aggro. The zombie swung. Too fast. Bam. Qing got launched like a ragdoll. She smashed into a boulder with a sickening crunch. Shuai turned to Tianho, eyes wide with terror. What do we do? The undead brute hoisted its mallet, aiming to crush the unconscious Qing into paste. Zero hesitation. Tianhao. He just snapped his fingers. Summon demon slime. A dense fog rolled in, birthing the slime from the abyss. Level 3 and ready to rage. Tianhao barked the order to execute. Dance of the demon. The slime didn't just move, it vanished, a streak of neon light cutting through the air. Boom. The hammer obliterated the ground, earth shattering on impact, but the monster froze. Empty air. Tianhao smirked. Maybe check your aim, buddy. The slime was already gone. Qing safely tucked in its gelatinous grip. It deposited her gently into Shuai's arms like a fragile doll. Tianhao didn't look back. Get her to safety. Heal her up. I've got the walking corpse. The zombie roared, winding up for round 2. Slime spit now. The glob leaped, catching serious air, hovering right above the undead giant. A wicked, gooey grin split its face. Splat. It unleashed a torrent of acidic red sludge raining hell from above. The monster threw up its arms, futile block. Tianhao pressed the advantage instantly, ordering a demon dance encore. But Tianhao frowned. This thing was a tank. They were only doing like 50% of the DPS he expected. He needed a strat change. Then the monster twitched. It finally clicked. That goo was melting right through its rotten skin. The slime wound up for another pass. Tianhao's tactical brain kicked into overdrive. Combo move demon dance plus strong corrosive slime. Sweep the leg. He aimed straight for the ankle. Bullseye. The slime slammed into the joint with surgical precision. The leg gave out. Down goes the giant. Shuai kept the healing spells flowing. Qing's eyelids finally fluttered open. Blurry vision cleared, and she saw him, Tianhao, absolutely dominating the battlefield. She realized she'd underestimated him. Big time. Meanwhile, Tianhao was dissecting the combat data. Legs were the weak point. Focus fire on the lower body. The slime obeyed, unleashing another acidic deluge. The goo stacked up to the monster's waist, bubbling and hissing. Even that massive hammer started dissolving like butter. Game over. Tianhao delivered the final blow to the corrupted zombie. Loot drop 120 EXP, a corpse hammer, 10 wolf hides, and 10 wolf fangs. Ding, level up to level 2. Even Tianhao blinked. That was a massive XP dump. The girls were floored. Are all summoners this? OP Shuai stammered. Qing shook her head. No, it's not the class. It's him. Tianhao is just built different. Soloing an elite mob, that's god-tier gameplay. Tianhao walked over, voice softening. You good. Qing's face heated up. Just a scratch, she mumbled. Shuai chimed in. My cooldowns are shot. We need a timeout. Qing wasn't having it. No way. The leaderboard. We're racing for number 1, she insisted, trying to look tough. I can still fight. Let's move. But her knees buckled. She was going down until Tianhao swooped in, catching her. How exactly are you going to climb the ranks if you're dead? Caught. She turned beet red. Okay, fine, she admitted, defeated. You win. We rest. Map says there's a cave nearby, Tianhao noted. We camp there. A short hike later, they found the spot. You two sleep. I'll take first watch. Shuai totally tapped out on mana. Face planted and was out cold instantly, snoring. Tianhao looked at Qing. You too. Get some shut-eye. He turned to leave, but a quiet voice stopped him. Hey, thanks for saving me. Tianhao paused. He didn't speak, just held her gaze. Her face exploded in color. Panic mode activated. I pay my debts, okay. She spun around, flustered, burying her face. Forget I said anything, just go. Tianhao cracked a grin. Behind all that prickly attitude was a genuine heart. Classic tsundere. Qing peeked through her fingers as he walked out, alone under the stars. Tianhao pulled up his HUD. Level check. He'd hit level 3. Stats were booming. HP up from 800 to 1,200. MP spiked to 400. Attack damage rocketed from 12 to 40. Spirit stat 80 to 100. Defense ticked up to 2. Agility boosted to 55. Luck stat doubled to 20. Demonic Sacrifice was still holding that S-rank status, and he'd unlocked fully armed level 1. The tooltip read, allows spirit to shield summoned units and buffs all stats. Nice. Beast slots 1 of 2 filled. Tianhao grinned. This build was coming together. He cast fully armed. Solid. It functioned like a passive stat multiplier. His HP surged by another 400 points. That buff alone gave him enough juice to level up the slime 4 times over. But there was a catch. If he couldn't raise his max HP cap soon, he'd hit a wall. He'd need a workaround. For now, he triggered Convert, 400 HP sacrificed. His health points tanked all the way down to 800. But the trade-off was sweet. The demon slime hit level 7, and its stats got a massive steroid injection. We are talking 14 HP attack power skyrocketing to 140 agility, hitting 120, and defense creeping up to 7. Plus, it unlocked a fresh ability, Split. Tianho's gamer brain started ticking. He had to know, were these clones carbon copies of the original or just cheap knockoffs? Time to road test this bad boy. The slime bounced into the air, putting some safe distance between itself and its master. Tianho triggered the command, Split. Instantly, the slime's body tore apart and multiplied. Tianho leaned in, scanning the data panel. Both slimes were sitting at level 7. 700 HP, 140, attack 130 agility, and 4 defense. Same skill set too. The catch, the copies couldn't use Split again. Basically, their HP got chopped in half. Agility got a slight buff, but their defense took a hit. The real question was how long these dupes would last before popping. A holographic timer flashed above their heads. 3 minutes. Tianho stood there, stunned. 3 minutes, that is barely enough time to make instant noodles. Suddenly a noise echoed from the cave depths. His danger sense went haywire. The vibes were off, the girls were in serious trouble. He sprinted back inside. The scene froze his blood. Shuai and Qing were staring down a nightmare. No time to think. Tianho ordered the slime to split and engage. The twin slimes launched themselves at the target. The damage counter popped up, -25. Tianho gaped at the pathetic number. They were up against a giant snow rabbit, level 8. This thing was a tank, 800 HP, 80 attack, 500 agility, and 6 defense, and it looked straight up cursed. Imagine a bunny horror show, humanoid body rabbit head walking on 2 legs like a person. These things survive in sub-zero hellscapes, boasting fur so thick it basically laughs at physical attacks. Shuai and Qing were sweating bullets. A 6-level gap, that is a death sentence. The snow rabbit unhinged its jaw, letting out a sound that definitely didn't belong to a bunny. It lunged straight for Tianho. Qing screamed a warning, but Tianho brushed it off with main character energy, saying, "It is literally just a rabbit." The demon slime fired a corrosive shot. But mid-charge, the snow rabbit pulled a pro-gamer move. It vanished. The slime's acid hit nothing but dirt, faster than a blink. The rabbit teleported behind the slime and delivered a devastating kick. The slime got launched across the cave like a ragdoll. The rabbit didn't let up. It was on the slime, instantly landing a heavy punch before the creature could even reboot. It was a total beatdown. Tianho shouted for a retreat, triggering Dance of the Demon and strong corrosive slime to cover the escape. The slime scrambled back at max speed. Tianho analyzed the enemy. This snow rabbit was broken. Its agility stats were off the charts. It was a dodge tank. Shuai, looking traumatized, asked how anything could move that fast. Qing dropped some lore explaining that the snow rabbit is an infamous party wiper in the abyss. Entire squads have been deleted by this thing, but she was confused why the aggro. They hadn't even stepped into its territory yet. Seeing the slime's attacks bouncing off like pebbles, Shuai suggested jumping into the fray. Tianho grit his teeth. He was in a jam. Dance of the Demon got cancelled earlier, and now he was stuck waiting on the cooldown. He ordered the slime to kite back, but the rabbit kept landing hits. Shuai couldn't watch from the sidelines anymore. She stepped up to throw hands. Qing tried to hold her back, grabbing a rock and chucking it at the beast to pull aggro. Bullseye right on the forehead. The snow rabbit slowly turned its head. Qing paralyzed with pure terror. The beast let out a demonic roar. Panicking, Shuai dug into her inventory and hurled a carrot. The snow rabbit's eyes sparkled. Instantly, the monster morphed into a fluffy, adorable bunny and started happily munching on the snack. The whole squad stood there dumbfounded. Tianho realized the terrifying boss monster was just hangry. Qing, meanwhile, was totally lost. She asked Shuai why on earth she was carrying produce. Shuai sheepishly explained. She packed them as emergency snacks. But the second the rabbit finished eating, the killer gaze returned. Sensing the vibe shift, Shuai freaked out and bolted, dropping a trail of carrots like breadcrumbs. The rabbit chased after the buffet. Tianhou counted the inventory. They were running low on ammo. If they wanted to kill this thing, they had to move now. He yelled at Shuai to toss the bag to Qing. Qing looked confused, but Shuai obeyed the order instantly. Qing barely caught the bag. Bad move. The snow rabbit locked onto her like a heat-seeking missile. Instinct took over, and Qing shifted into her beast form, shooting a desperate look at Tianhou demanding the plan. She vaulted into the air, barely dodging a lethal swipe. Tianhou didn't have a master plan, just a simple objective: end it. The rabbit jumped again, throwing a double fist strike. Qing was shook by its insane velocity. You ready? Or what? She screamed at Tianhou midair. He shouted to drag it into the cave. Finally, the strategy clicked. Zero hesitation. She spun on her heels and dead sprinted for the cave mouth, the snow rabbit hot on her trail. Qing pushed her speed to the limit, banking on the fact that this beast had zero brakes. And just like she calculated crash, the rabbit slammed face first into the dead end, shaking the walls until boulders rained down on its skull. That was the signal. Showtime. The slime launched itself into the air, hovering over the dazed rabbit, and unleashed a shower of sticky, corrosive acid. Hook, line, and sinker, the rabbit had walked right into Tianhao's killbox. He barked the command, split, hit it with the slime spit. The rabbit's aggression vanished instantly. Panic set in. Its eyes darted wildly, realizing it was boxed in with no escape route. The demon slime, looking absolutely diabolical, grinned as it melted the rabbit's health bar. Slowly but surely, the HP hit zero. Good game. Tianhao exhaled, the adrenaline finally fading. It was over. 200 EXP secured. He was just 100 points away from leveling up. But the victory tasted a little sour. That snow rabbit was only level 6, yet his slime had struggled to take it down. Reality check: his slime was a beast at area of effect damage, but against a single target, it was kinda trash. If they got cornered like that again without a plan, it would be a total disaster. The girls slumped against the wall, just glad to be alive. Shuai was practically hyperventilating, tears streaming down her face. She legit thought it was game over. Qing, however, was fuming. She tore into Tianhao for using her as live bait. He apologized, dropping the logic bomb. You're the only one with the agility stats to dodge those attacks. Qing paused, cheeks flushing pink. Okay, she'd take the compliment. But she immediately pivoted to roast Shuai. This is your fault for bringing carrots into a dungeon, Qing yelled. Shuai sniffled, trying to defend herself. I thought dry rations were smart. Who knew monsters would smell them? Qing rolled her eyes hard. Stash them in your inventory now. Before the argument could explode, Tianhao cut in. Hold up. Look at the numbers. One rabbit gave us 120 EXP. That's a gold mine. If we farm these things with traps, we power level. To clear Cold Valley Abyss, they had to beat the level 10 boss. The requirement: every squad member had to be at least level 4. Right now, the girls were sitting at level 2 and Tianhao was a level 3. The math was simple. They needed to frag at least 5 more snow rabbits to hit the cap. Shuai looked nervous. We barely survived one. How are we going to handle a swarm? Tianhao smirked. This time we flipped the script. We aren't the prey anymore, we're the hunters. Qing was instantly down. She wasn't about to waste time grinding slowly. If they could lure the mobs to them, that was their ticket. To the leaderboards. They set the stage, placing a juicy carrot on the ground as the ultimate lure. A snow rabbit hopped over, totally clueless. Boom, they jumped from the shadows. Surprise attack successful. Cue the montage. 3 hours of grinding later, the results were in. Tianhao hit level 5. Qing and Shuai both dinged to level 4. 5 hours total in the abyss. Shuai was beaming. That was insane efficiency. Qing nodded. Not bad. The current record holder took 8 hours to clear this dungeon. Shuai got hyped. We could crush that record, but Qing shut it down fast. Don't get cocky. We still have the boss fight, and that's going to be a nightmare. Tianhao nodded grimly. The guide described the boss: the wandering zombie leader, a summoner type that spams corrupted wolves and zombie minions. It turns the battle into a grueling endurance test. With their current DPS, that fight is a 2-hour marathon minimum. Shuai asked for the play. Qing called for a full reset and recovery before the big showdown. Tianhao agreed to a 30-minute breather. While they chilled in the cave, Tianhao used Convert to swap HP for stats. His health tanked from 1,100 down to 800. He frowned. The gains were shrinking, diminishing returns. He needed a buff or a new strat once they got out of this hellhole. He checked the Demon Slime's sheet: level 9, HP 1,600, attack 150, agility 130, defense a measly 9. Skills were unchanged: strong, corrosive, slime spit, dance, and split. No new unlocks. Seriously, Tianhao silently prayed the boss wouldn't one-shot them. Suddenly, boom, a massive noise rocked the cave entrance. The whole team jolted up, weapons ready. They scrambled outside to investigate and froze. Standing there was a creature of pure myth. A winged horse with a glowing horn. What is that? Tianhao gasped. It was a hidden boss. The unicorn, level 10, 1500 HP, 120, attack 300, agility, and 10 defense. Skills: soul cleansing, melody, aura, horn, thrust, stomp, and falling meteor. This wasn't a monster, it was a god. A mythic guardian, pure and untamed, slumbered in the darkest depths of the abyss. It only woke up when the land's vibe was off, specifically to evict invaders and fix the balance. Tianhao was shook. A unicorn. He stared in disbelief. Finding a boss this rare was like hitting the lottery, but a quick stat check killed the mood. This thing was way more broken than the dungeon's main boss. The demon slime bristled, sensing the threat. The unicorn's horn started glowing with raw energy. A heartbeat later, its eyes flashed with a ghostly light. Tianhao froze, his gaze turning glassy. Like he'd been hit with a charm spell, he was totally entranced by the creature's ethereal glamour. Without a thought, he started zombie walking toward the cliff's edge. The demon slime wasn't having it chomp. It sank fangs into his leg. The sharp pain snapped him back to reality. He spun around, pissed at the bite. Relief washed over Tianhao until he realized Qing and Shuai were caught in the same trance. They looked like they were staring at paradise, totally oblivious they were marching toward their doom. Shuai was one toe away from the drop. When Tianhao screamed, he yanked them both back from the void and shoved them behind a massive boulder for cover. The spell broke. Qing demanded to know why a hidden boss just spawned. Shuai was confused, thinking the main event was the wandering zombie leader. Tianhao dropped the lore the unicorn guard's life. It probably showed up because they farmed way too many snow rabbits. Shuai argued that it didn't spawn when they wiped out tons of undead before. Qing cut in, beating the mini-bosses unlocks the finale. Once they clap the wandering zombie leader, they clear the dungeon. But she noted the hidden boss. The unicorn had stats that made the main boss look like a joke. She knew this was a potential team wipe. Shuai burst into tears, terrified of dying, begging to retreat. Tianhao shut that down. Running wasn't an option. After slaughtering that many rabbits, they were already marked. Shuai spiraled, convinced it was game over. Tianhao placed a steady hand on her shoulder. He reminded her she was the MVP who got them to a time that was half the leaderboard's record. Now they just needed the win to clear. He insisted it was just a hidden boss and promised he wouldn't let them take damage. Qing put on a brave face, warning them not to drag her down. Shuai whispered a shaky thank you. Seconds later, a deafening roar ripped through the air. It found them. The squad locked in. The unicorn unleashed horn thrust. The ground shattered as it charged. It vaulted across the cliffs effortlessly. Scatter, Tianhao yelled. The beast stuck the landing on their side. Now separated, they were effectively cornered. The dust settled, revealing a raging monster. It cast soul-cleansing melody, a sound that physically hurt. Tianhao signaled Shuai. She started chanting Sage's narrative hymn for defense, a lullaby to debuff the enemy, and war gods marched to spike their damage. The unicorn locked onto the support and roared. Beast hoof stomp incoming. Shuai froze in terror as it barreled toward her. At the last second, Qing grabbed the horn, halting the charge. She pivoted and delivered a savage kick. Then she taunted it. The unicorn neighed in fury. It locked eyes on her as she sprinted away. When it used horn thrust, she leaped high to dodge. She was starting to grasp the boss's insane power. Then the unicorn jumped too. Watch out, Tianhao screamed. Too late. The horn skewered Qing straight through the chest. She went into shock. Shuai rushed to her side, begging her to stay awake. Tianhao summoned his slime, the sight fueling his rage. The slime evolved to level 9. HP bumped from 16 to 17 and attack spiked from 150 to 160. The unicorn turned to face them. The slime engaged. It prepped a shot, then unleashed a torrential rain of venom on the beast. Shuai was amazed they were holding the line. The unicorn's fatal flaw was dark element attacks, and the demonized slime was the ultimate hard counter. Tianhao commanded the assault. More slime coated the beast, eliciting screams of agony. The unicorn tried to bail, taking flight into the sky. But Tianhao wasn't letting it escape. He ordered corrosive slime and demon's dance. The slime liquefied, then catapulted into the air to hunt it down. It intercepted the unicorn effortlessly, getting right in its face. Blocked, the beast panicked. Good boy, Tianhao praised. The unicorn crashed to the earth, absolutely livid. It blasted sonic waves from its horn. Cover your ears, Tianhao shouted. Amidst the noise, the beast struck. Tianhao ordered a split dodge. A near miss, the slime split just in time, the horn stabbing empty air. Now there were two slimes. The unicorn unleashed Stomp. The clone had a time limit, so Tianhao knew he had to wrap this up fast. He called for corrosive slime again. One decoy jumped high, while the other took the stomp. The beast sensed the aerial threat. But before it could react, the slime had already drenched it in goo. It tried to shake it off, but the darkness clung like a second skin. The unicorn let out an unholy screech, totally losing it, as the pain sent it into a blind rampage. Tianho's heart hammered. This thing was going full berserk mode. He barked a command, pulling his slime back instantly. That hit landed deep. The spot where the slime had attached was a mangled mess. The blob zipped back to safety by Tianho's side. Eyes burning with pure malice, the beast locked onto them. Tianho braced himself, ready to dodge, but then, nothing. The monster just froze, glitching out mid-attack. Tianho's eyes narrowed. Something was off. Right beneath the creature's hooves, a pool of violet ichor was mixing with strange clumps of grass. Qing wasn't having it. "Why are you lagging?" she snapped, rushing past him. "End this thing." Shuai scrambled to follow her lead. "Hold up," Tianho shouted, but Qing was already mid-air. He could only watch as she descended on the weakened beast to secure the kill. Steel met flesh with a sickening tear, and the unicorn crumbled. Qing landed with a superhero pose, looking smug about her critical hit, but the victory vibe died instantly. The fallen beast wasn't roaring, it was whimpering. Qing stepped back, totally shook. Monsters don't cry, do they? Suddenly, the sky cracked open. A blinding pillar of light slammed down, unleashing a sonic boom that brought them all to their knees. The pressure was insane. The whole dungeon started quaking. A massive boulder broke loose, plummeting straight for them. "Eat it," Tianho screamed at the slime. The slime sprang into action, stretching its gelatinous body to the limit. It engulfed the falling rock, expanding like a balloon, before dissolving the granite into nothingness. "Good boy," Tianho gasped, but there was no time to celebrate. The ceiling was caving in. The entire arena was turning into a death trap. "Tight formation," he ordered. Qing yelped as debris nearly crushed her foot, barely keeping it together as she scrambled through the chaos. She clawed her way through the wreckage, parkouring over falling slabs. Tianho scooped up Shuai while Qing sprinted to catch up. The slime morphed into a protective bubble around them. "What is happening?" Qing screamed over the noise. "The Guardian is dead," Tianho yelled back. "The magic holding this place together is gone." Then his blood ran cold. A massive slab was hurtling toward the dying unicorn. "Split, save it," he commanded. The slime hesitated but obeyed. A glob of green goo shot out, speed blitzing across the arena to shield the beast just in time. It dissolved the debris in seconds, then expanded into a barrier, locking the unicorn down in a safe zone. The beast hacked up a spray of blood. Suddenly, the tremors stopped. Silence fell. It was time to investigate. "Explanation. Now," Qing demanded. Tianho pointed to the floor. "Unicorn blood. It's not just distinct, it's high-tier restorative magic. Wherever the blood touched, the dead earth was blooming." The unicorn convulsed violently. "Let's put it out of its misery," Qing said, weapon raised. "We kill it, the exit opens." But Tianho blocked her path. "Dude, stop trying to ruin my run," she hissed, frustration peaking. Shuai squinted at the creature. "Wait. Look." Tianho saw it too. The beast wasn't attacking. It was pleading. Suddenly, its body jerked upright. Shuai flinched back. "Kill it." Now Qing shrieked, but Tianho held the line. "Chill. Just watch," she groaned. "We don't have time for this drama." The unicorn gagged, spitting more blood before collapsing. Then something horrifying pushed against its stomach from the inside. Rip. A spiraled horn tore through the flesh. Qing's jaw dropped. This was straight out of a horror movie. A second unicorn pulled itself free from the corpse. Qing stood paralyzed. As the newborn stepped out, the barren wasteland instantly exploded into a lush paradise. Realization hit her. It's a respawn mechanic. She lunged forward. "I'm spawn camping this thing before it levels up." Tianho stepped in to tank her aggression again. "Back off." She raised her weapon, eyes wild, but he didn't flinch. So she slapped him, hard. A sharp crack echoed as her nails cut his cheek. A single drop of Tianho's blood flew through the air and landed on the foal's horn. Flashbang. The horn ignited with blinding light. Qing was fuming, shouting at Tianho, completely missing the miracle unfolding behind her as the foal tried to stand. Ping, a system notification hovered in the air. Contract established. The girls froze, staring at the glowing beast. Tianho turned, watching a golden wisp of energy float toward him. It merged with his third eye, and suddenly, the creature's stat block overlaid his vision. Level 1. HP 600. Attack 15. Agility 100. Defense 2. Skills Soul Cleansing. Melody. Beast Stomp. Before he could react, reality warped. Tianho was pulled into a spiritual void alone with the creature. This was the 200 IQ play he'd banked on. He knew the mother wasn't attacking earlier, she was protecting the spawn point. But a taming contract, that was a lucky crit. He just bagged a second summon unit. "Hello, Earth," to Tianho. Qing's voice snapped him back. She was scanning the area. Then the ground gave a violent lurch. A massive fissure tore the earth apart. Qing grabbed Shuai. "Run, the map is deleting itself." But Tianho didn't run. He knelt by the mother's corpse, whispering a vow to protect her legacy. He sat amidst the magical grass where she had passed. The loot stream scrolled past his eyes. Unicorn horn craftable. Unicorn mane. Venomous unicorn blood. Cold Valley treasure chest. He was busy analyzing the drops, totally ignoring the slime frantically jiggling to get his attention. The floor was literally disintegrating. New records set, the system cheered. Rankings updated. I knew it, he smirked. In the distance, Qing was screaming her head off. Tianho, move your ass. Too late. The ground beneath him crumbled into dust. Qing watched in horror as Tianho plummeted into the abyss. The system prompt hovered exit now. He didn't hesitate, smashing yes and vanishing instantly. His two teammates dissolved into light right alongside him. They materialized back in the real world, Qing still shaking from the brush with death. A split second later, Tianhao flickered into existence next to them. Qing immediately snatched him up by the collar, panic turning to rage. He tried to talk her down, but the rest of the plaza was too busy, glued to the giant leaderboard, to notice the drama. The atmosphere was electric. That board hadn't shifted in ages, and the hype train was leaving the station. Debates raged. Nobody thought Fang Changyuan's legendary record could ever be touched. A silhouette stepped through the portal. Ripples and the mob swarmed, convinced they were looking at the new champions. A voice hollered at Tianhao's squad, demanding to know if they were the ones who just shattered the high score. Another guy roasted him immediately. Don't be stupid. Look at them. They clearly got forced out early. No way it's them. The logic tracked for the crowd. Qing started seeing red, but Zoe stepped in for damage control, holding her back before she threw hands. Attention shifted back to the portal as Dong's crew strutted out. He wasted no time immediately mocking Tianhao for getting booted from the dungeon. He got right up in Tianhao's face, sneering that a bottom feeder like him should have died in there. Then his eyes landed on the campus queen. Why are you wasting time with this scrub? His minions chimed in, telling her to upgrade to Dong's team since he's combat class royalty. She didn't flinch. You're all filthy trash. Get lost. That triggered them hard. Dong snapped his fingers, signaling his lackey Yunfei. He started lecturing about the massive power gap between them. Tianhao just gave a coy smirk and told Dong to actually look around. Open your eyes, genius. Dong was about to explode when the leaderboard finally refreshed. Tianhao's name shot straight to the #1 spot. Baldy stood there, jaw on the floor. His goons completely lost it. Dong's grip on Tianhao's collar loosened as the reality set in. A collective gasp swept through the other players. Chang Yuan had held that throne for 3 years. He was supposed to be untouchable. Everyone started frantically searching Tianhao's stats. One minion couldn't process it. Him, first place, Yunfei immediately cried foul, accusing him of hacking the system. He cheated on his school exams, remember. He definitely rigged the leaderboard too. The crowd wavered. Whispers of, "Is that possible?" spread like wildfire. The hero worship instantly turned into suspicion. Suddenly, a voice cut through the noise, calling them all ignorant fools. Yunfei, salty about the interruption, barked back, "Who said that?" His face went ghost white when he saw the source. The elites had arrived. Pang Yi, a level 7 berserker with B-rank talent, led the pack. Flanking him were Song Shaolin, a level 7 priest, and Yu Hong, a level 7 light magician, both B-rank talents. Then there was Murong Shuai, a level 8 assassin rocking the A-rank Phantom Veil talent. And finally, their captain, Murong Yu, a level 9 swordsman wielding the Golden Divine Lion skill and A-rank talent. The crowd was absolutely starstruck, seeing the famous Murong siblings in the flesh. For most, seeing them in real life was a dream. They looked incredible, radiating that undeniable main character energy. That's the power of the Murong family's Golden Divine group. Tianhao was intrigued. He noticed the siblings were sporting a super rare title. A title you can't just stumble upon. He wondered why they were slumming it here. Usually families with that kind of clout use private gates. They normally teleport straight into the Black Abyss. But sometimes these high-tier families drop into the public lobbies to scout for talent. They'll mix with the normies to build a team. But Tianhao noticed they were already rolling with a full squad. So what were they doing here? It didn't add up. Dong tried to shoot his shot and introduce himself to the Murong sister, but she completely iced him out. Yunfei tried to check her for the attitude. Murong Shuai just sighed. It's tragic that people like this are even allowed here. You're polluting the warrior pool. Yunfei got heated, but Dong held him back. He tried to play it cool, saying it's fine if she looks down on him. But he pivoted back to Tianhao. That guy is garbage. He definitely used exploits to top the leaderboard. He warned Tianhao that it was just a lucky fluke. Next time I'll show you what real power looks like. With that threat, he bounced. Qing finally exhaled. Glad those barking dogs are gone. Suddenly, Murong, you made a beeline for Tianhao. He stripped off his glove and extended a hand to the new ranking king. Our boy just stood there, confused why the elite was targeting him. Murong Shuai rolled her eyes. Don't be a dummy. He's trying to give you props. Shake his hand, Murong. You glanced at his sister, telling her to chill. Tianhao muttered an awkward hello, looking like his social skills just glitched. Suddenly, Qing intercepted, grabbing his hand first. Are you blind? She snapped. He's with me. Find your own teammate. Murong. You stiffened, barely keeping his cool. He politely asked her to step off so the men could talk, but Qing yanked Tianhao back. She knew exactly what was happening. Murong Yu was trying to poach her carry. Murong Shuai cut in. Look, we don't have time to waste. She dropped the bombshell. We want him. The crowd lost it. Why would the elite Murong family fight over a lowly summoner? But Tianhao wasn't your basic summoner. He was built different. And the Murong clan, they were hungry for that dungeon record. Teaming with Tianhao was the ultimate cheat code. Qing clapped back immediately. She wasn't about to hand him over and lose her spot on the leaderboard. Yu Hang stepped up. Girl move. We're taking him. The peanut gallery chimed in, shouting that he'd be crazy to turn down the Murong resources. Better to fold than fight the Murong squad. 2 A ranks and 3 B ranks. That's a death sentence. Shuai was stressing out. She double-checked with Tianhe, but he wasn't biting. Qing smirked. He wouldn't dare cross us. Yu cut in, shutting her down. You don't speak for him, Qing. He turned to our MC. Let's hear what the man wants. Yu flexed his title, Knight of the Golden Divine Lion, and shot a formal invite. Ping. The holographic screen hovered in the air. Accept or decline. Qing scoffed. He won't. But Tianhe grinned. Sure. Qing's jaw practically hit the floor. Shuai blinked, totally stunned. Tianhe doubled down. I said sure, Qing stammered. Wait, what did you just say? While Shuai tried to process the whys, Yu nodded approvingly. Smart kid. He gestured to the floating screen. Make it official. Tianhe stared at the button. Qing screamed, don't do it. Yu leaned in, voice dripping with honey. Think of the records will shatter. Total win-win. Beep. Tianhe smashed reject. The crowd gasped. Shuai snapped, are you playing games with us? Yu held up a hand to silence her. Tianhe shrugged, cool as ice. Relax. I said I'm joining. But we play by my rules. Shuai bristled. Excuse me, we're letting a summoner tag along. That's charity. You should be thanking us. Tianhe turned to leave. Guess that's a no. Yu panicked. Wait, what are the terms? Nothing major, Tianhe smirked. 1. After we enter the Black Abyss, I call the shots. Absolute command. 2. Nobody leeches my XP without a green light. And 3. All the monster loot, mine. The audacity. The Murong squad was fuming. Even the bystanders started whispering. Is this guy for real? That's totally unreasonable. Then again, someone pointed out, hey, they came to him. It's a seller's market. It was a trap. Agree and the mighty Murong guild becomes Tianhe's servants. Refuse and they kiss that leaderboard goodbye. Calculated brilliance. Tianhe tilted his head. Well, the Murong members were begging their captain to walk away. This guy was looking down on them. Qing beamed, loving the chaos. Oh, can't handle the heat. She smirked. Guess you'll have to grind that ranking solo. Good luck. The whispers grew louder, challenging the Murong powerhouse in public after smashing a record. That is a massive flex. Even the mayor wouldn't disrespect them like this. Yu's patience snapped. He was ready to school this kid, but he held back. Eyes on the prize. He glared at Tianhe. If you never planned to team up, don't waste my time. Tianhe shrugged. I just hate bullies who use their guild tag to push people around. That hit a nerve. Shuai looked ready to kill. Yu's voice dropped an octave. Don't get cocky, kid. The celebration ends now. They stormed off. Qing followed, skipping happily. But Shuai Shi shot a look back that said, you're dead meat. Drama over. Tianhe pivoted. Back to the abyss. 2 more runs and he'd hit level 10 easy. Suddenly, killer intent. A chill ran down his spine. The girls were fuming. He'd played them too. They thought he was ditching them for real. You cold-hearted jerk. Tianhe waved his hands frantically. Wait, let me explain. Whack a scream echoed. The girls left him with cartoon bumps on his head to go resupply. The cooldown clock ticked down. Time check 141. Tianhe rubbed his throbbing skull. Ouch. Ruthless. No mercy with those two. Over an hour to kill. He groaned. Need a nap before the next run. That unicorn boss XP pushed him to level 6. Nice. But he still hadn't checked the beast's stats. Let's see what you got. He tapped summon. A blinding flash erupted. He shielded his eyes, expecting a majestic beast. And nothing. Empty air. Hello. Confused, a system alert popped up, summoning failed. He checked the status tab. The creature icon was grayed out. Status EGG. Unhatched. Confirm hatching. He hit yes. A timer appeared. 3 days. You have got to be kidding me. Stuck, waiting. Great. Then he remembered the loot. In all the chaos, he forgot the drops. Rubbing his hands together, he opened his inbox. Huh. A weird mail sat at the top. Attachment historical record gift pack. Title awarded, The Fastest Man. He cringed. Fastest man. That sounds weird. Whatever loot is loot. He clicked the pack. This was the good stuff. Chance for high-tier gear materials potions. Click. 2 glowing chests materialized in the air. Jackpot time. Chest 1 popped open. Guardian armor. Universal class. HP plus 50. Defense plus 1. Solid start. Also tucked inside 2 small EXP potions. 50 XP a pop, I'll take it. He grinned. Time for the main event. He opened the second box. His eyes nearly popped out of his skull. Silver-grade ice necklace. No way. This gear is absolutely cracked. It unlocks plus 50 magic and plus 10 spirit. Equipping it grants +5 ice resistance, slashing that annoying slow effect by 15%. He also snagged an EXP potion worth 150 points, and a medium healing potion, which instantly recovers 150 HP. But the real shocker, the boss actually dropped silver grade loot. In this game, gear is ranked in 9 tiers: no grade, bronze, silver gold, platinum, diamond radiant, legendary, and divine. Pulling a silver piece this early, that is a total glitch in the matrix. Feeling absolutely goated, he snaps it on. The power surge is instant. It's game time. He puts on his serious face as his status screen flashes his title, the fastest man. Check the stats. Level 6. HP is sitting pretty at 1150. Mana is 600. Attack, 58. Spirit is skyrocketing to 140. Defense is 5. +1 on the shield. Agility is a solid 70. Luck is 26. And his S-tier talent, Demon Sacrifice, still broken. His skill, fully armed, is currently level 1, allowing his spirit power to buff his summoned beasts, giving their stats a nice little spike for 180 seconds. Right now, his roster includes the Demon Slime and an incubating Ice Unicorn, maxing out his summon slots at 2 for 2. With 2 skill points burning a hole in his pocket and his stats looking beefy, he decides to go all in. He pumps fully armed up to level 3. Now summoning costs way less spirit energy, doubles the beast's stats, and lasts a whopping 200 seconds. Speedrunning dungeons just got a whole lot easier. Next on the agenda, power leveling the slime. He summons it, planning to sacrifice 100 HP, but the system throws him a curveball. Advancement is possible. The screen says he's 6 levels short, but the hype is real. He needs to know what happens if he forces the evolution. No guides, no clues. He just sends it. He taps yes, and holds his breath. Instantly, his HP tanks from over 1,000 down to 500. A vortex swirls around the slime, evolving into a full-blown tornado. He watches intently as the wind howls. The slime starts shifting, growing skin. Tianho is mesmerizing. Meanwhile, back at Black Abyss Plaza, the squad is waiting. Tianho is a no-show. Zoe checks the team panel to track him down. She spots his icon, booking it into the deep woods. Totally sus. She decides to investigate. Ching tags along. Back in the forest, Tianho watches a red cloud form. He has zero clue what's coming. When the dust settles, the slime is gone. In its place, a stunning demi-human baddie. And let's just say the view is extremely generous, especially since she is completely au naturel. The slime girl is thrilled to see him, but she moves awkwardly, shambling over like a gorilla. Before he can react, she launches herself at him. She pins him to the ground, straddling him and burying his face right in her assets. Tianho freezes, completely flustered. His face turns tomato red before he manages to grab her arm and peel her off. Swearing to himself that he won't catch feelings for a summon, he quickly opens his inventory to find something to cover her up. He hands her some clothes. She tries to absorb them into her body, so he has to explain the concept of actually wearing them. He steps in to help her get dressed. It gives him total dad vibes. Surprisingly, the outfit bumps her defense by a tiny 0.1. Turns out humanoid summons can equip player gear. That is a massive game changer. Time for a stat check. The slime jumped from level 9 all the way to 15. Her HP spiked from 16 to 27. Attack skyrocketed from 150 to 205. Agility hit 160. And defense is up to 20.1. She also unlocked 2 nasty skills. One wipes out groups, and the other is a single target nuke. First up, corrosive acid rain. She literally throws part of herself into the sky to form clouds, melting a target area with toxic rain. It deals continuous damage. The second skill is Demon's Embrace. Tentacles coated in strong acid wrap up the enemy, introducing them to a world of pain. It deals massive damage over time. He checks the details, realizing the acid rain is an upgraded move, while the Embrace is a new evolution perk. This build is looking OP. He's itching to test her out. Meanwhile, Qing and Jue are confused why Tianho is lurking so deep in the forest. Following the map, they finally catch up to him. But from their angle, it looks incredibly compromising, like he's up to no good with a woman. Jue is panting from the run. She asks if this is the spot, blushing hard at the scene. Qing, on the other hand, goes nuclear. Tianho blinks, totally caught off guard. What are you guys doing here? But Qing isn't answering with words. Her knuckles are white, ready to throw hands. Are we interrupting your little fun time? She hisses. Tianho's face drains of color. Pervert, they scream in unison, and bonk, he earns a fresh collection of lumps on his skull. Qing argues she had zero clue. It was an evolved slime, how could she know? She turns the tables, blaming him for being terrible at communicating. You didn't even give me a second to speak, Tianho shoots back. Why are you here anyway? Qing checks her virtual clock. The meetup deadline is officially over. They had to hunt him down, just to enter the Black Abyss. Tianho rubs his head, admitting he was just chilling, and completely lost track of time. Suddenly, the system interface pops up, enter dungeon. Since the whole squad is finally assembled, they smash that confirm button. A blinding flash engulfs them. Cut to the interior, the elite Hmong party has already slaughtered a mountain of mobs. But the vibes are off. They're frustrated. Zero clues on their target. Yu scowls, his expression sour enough to curdle milk. He realizes the truth. Someone beat them to the punch. He can't believe it. Another player snagged the objective first. Hang asks for orders. Yi pipes up with a galaxy brain idea. Whoever has it, let's just pay them a fat stack of cash to buy it back. Hang immediately slaps him for being an idiot. First, that's a 1,000-year mythical beast drop. Second, this is a classified ops mission. Xiaolan looks absolutely drained by the stupidity. He suggests a rival guild might have sniped it. Murong Shui snaps, screaming at everyone to shut their traps. She theorizes it wasn't a guild, but a rogue team. Those chaotic, unaffiliated players who answer to no one. She points out that no other major guild possessed the key fragment. Nobody else could have known the unicorn awakened, unless a team was already inside Grindin. Stumbled upon the boss by pure luck and took it down. Yu nods grimly. His sister, Xiao Shu, is making too much sense. The abyss is glitching out with instability, and the boss spawned way earlier than the patch notes predicted. Aside from their guild, the Golden Lions, nobody had the intel. Now, with the mythical beast dead and the dungeon destabilizing, the difficulty setting is about to skyrocket. Yu wonders who on earth had the DPS to kill that thing. Xiao Shu whispers to her brother, since not many teams just exited the instance. Why don't we just camp the exit, kill them, and loot the item back? Especially that arrogant little punk Tianho, she adds with venom. But Yu shuts that down immediately. The Golden Lions don't grief innocent players. Plus, anyone who soloed a hidden boss is clearly not weak. Still, his gut tells him the unicorn drop is with Tianho. Yu decides enough is enough. He orders a tactical retreat to HQ to file a report before making their next move. Everyone fall in. We're leaving. He thrusts his greatsword into the earth. A brilliant light wraps around the party, teleporting them out of the danger zone. Meanwhile, back in the abyss, Tianho is literally freezing to death. Su Wei casts a thermal spell to keep them from turning into popsicles. Qing barks at them to pick up the pace. Tianho is getting real tired of her high-maintenance attitude. What a diva. They push through the frozen forest until they reach the spawn zone, exactly where that first corrupted dire wolf appeared. Qing cracks her knuckles, wanting to use the mobs as a warm-up. Suddenly, the bushes rustle. Qing is hyped for violence. Boom, dire wolves burst out. Shui gasps, shocked to see 5 of them spawning at once. Tianho does the math. The spawn rate at the first checkpoint has quadrupled. Qing doesn't care if it's 5 or 50. She's confident she can one-shot the lot of them. Shui you up, Shui nods, lock and load. She strums her small harp, stacking buffs on the party. The music debuffs the wolves, and Qing cleaves through them in a single, devastating strike. Too easy, she scoffs. The damage numbers float up. Qing's DPS has spiked, hitting nearly 400 per hit. She's proving she's top-tier combat material. But Tianho isn't celebrating. He looks suspicious. Qing boasts that she'll delete every mob in her path. Tianho ignores the flex. Why are there so many wolves, he asks. Is the game glitching, or is it a coincidence? Qing and Shui shrug it off, telling him to quit lagging behind. But Tianho knows the next spawn point will reveal the truth. Suddenly the sky goes pitch black. Tianho senses a shift in the atmosphere. Qing orders Shui to keep the buffs coming, declaring she'll clear the map. Chill out, Shui cries. Tianho feels a chill that isn't from the cold. The ground begins to quake. The snow explodes upwards. A massive monster breaches the surface. Tianho realizes they weren't just hiding. They were lying in wait beneath the snow. It's a calculated hunting formation. They're completely surrounded. And the mob count, it's off the charts. Shui starts to panic. What do we do? Tianho analyzes the pattern. These aren't random aggro attacks. The monsters have developed actual intelligence. The pack charges. Qing scrambles to help Shui to her feet, while Tianho stands motionless. He takes a deep breath, staring down the alpha monster while wolves flank him from the rear. Even Qing feels the fear now. She thinks it's game over. But with jaws snapping inches from his face, Tianho cracks a smirk. He raises a hand and screams, "Demon slime." The real party is just getting started. Meanwhile, outside at the Abyss Plaza, the sky turns apocalyptic dark. The crowd goes into a frenzy as the earth shakes violently beneath their feet. Something twitched in the darkness. A desperate scream for help pierced the air. Bodies were hurled from the shadows, but they were already in pieces, limbs torn clean off. The crowd froze, jaws dropping. Some couldn't hold back the bile and retched right there. Panic set in as screams erupted. What in the actual hell is going on? A survivor dragged himself forward, his entire lower half missing. With his dying breath, he gasped the news. The abyss was erupting. The uniformed guards stood there, totally clueless. Abyss eruption. What's that? Grim footage flickered on the screens, body bags being hauled to the Hall of the Fallen. A quick scan of the perimeter confirmed the worst. Total massacre. Everyone was gone. The portal pulsed, spitting out an endless stream of skeletons. The bystanders were paralyzed, locked in pure terror. System windows popped up out of nowhere. The difficulty level just spiked. It wasn't just hard anymore. It was nightmare mode. An absolute death trap. Realizing they were completely out of their depth, the crowd scrambled. They needed the big guns. Someone had to alert the mayor fast. An officer fumbled for his radio, fingers trembling. Meanwhile, deep inside the abyss, Tianho was in the thick of it, encircled by a pack of vicious, dire wolves. He didn't flinch. He just summoned his slime. A wolf lunged from his blind spot, snapping its jaws, but Tianho remained ice cold. He let his summon handle the dirty work. The slime lashed out, scattering into smaller globs to blitz the other monsters. It was a slaughter. Seeing its pack getting obliterated, the alpha monster actually flinched in fear. The ground was littered with monster carcasses. The slime morphed into a humanoid form, clinging protectively to Tianho. Qing and Shuai watched in awe. This guy was a powerhouse. Back off for now, Tianho commanded. They didn't need to be told twice. Qing scanned the enemies, realizing these weren't your average mobs. They were buffed way beyond normal. Doubt crept in. Could he really solo this horde? Tianho stepped up, staring down the sea of fangs. He smirked and threw out a taunt. Come get some. I'll beat you so bad your own mama won't know your face. The monsters roared back, absolutely triggered. Aggro secured. The dire wolves howled, charging him like a tidal wave of fur and claws. One aimed straight for his legs, looking to cripple him. Hold the line, he barked. The slime still clinging to him braced for impact. The wolf locked eyes with them and went for the throat. Shuai was spiraling. Tianho was surrounded. But Qing saw the bigger picture. The Wolf King and its elite guard were built different. This was legit danger. Life or death. Tianho snapped a command. Defense mode. The slime morphed, shooting out a massive tentacle to form a shield. The wolves clamped their jaws onto the goo instead of Tianho's flesh. Qing and Shuai gasped. The wolves were taking damage just by touching it. Their HP bars were draining rapidly. Acid damage, the slime's mucus was melting them. But one crazy wolf ignored the pain and crunched down hard. It ripped a chunk of the slime away, shaking off the acid burn. Tianho grinned. Okay, now things are getting spicy. The line is breaking. What do we do? Shuai panicked. Qing stayed focused. Just keep those heals coming. The swarm intensified. More mobs rushed Tianho, piling onto the tentacle barrier like zombies. The girls had to stay sharp as the horde closed in. Even while attacking, the monsters were dissolving from the slime's acid defense. Tianho narrowed his eyes. These things weren't just mindless beasts, they were coordinating attacks. They've evolved. They're smart, he realized. Suddenly, two massive brutes flanked him, preparing a pincer attack. Shuai popped out of cover, screaming. Look out. Qing yanked her back, hissing. Are you insane? Shuai was terrified for him. I'll figure something out, Qing replied, desperately patting her pockets until she found a vial of red liquid. No other option. It was a vitality potion, a massive stat boost, but it only lasted for 60 seconds. The debuff was brutal, double damage taken once it wore off. But she didn't hesitate. She uncorked it and downed the whole thing. Suddenly, Tianho's voice cut through the chaos. Strike now. Before the girls could react, the monster stumbled. Boom! It was blasted backward, crashing hard into the snowdrifts. The dust settled. Tianho and his slime stood there completely untouched. He began charging up his energy. He thrust a hand skyward. Embrace of the demon, dark energy erupted, melting the monster's HP bar instantly. Its body simply disintegrated. Nothing left but a pile of bones. The system notification flashed: level 10 zombie wolf, king slain, XP secured. Shuai cheered wildly, but Qing was stunned silent. He just soloed a level 10 boss, with his bare hands. A surviving dire wolf whimpered tail between its legs. The zombie beast next to it glared, then smashed its ally into pulp. Another zombie shambled over, and their bodies began to twist and merge. A fusion skill, Rot Hammer Storm. The abomination planted its feet and spun, generating a terrifying tornado of rotting flesh. Qing gaped. Since when can low-level mobs use fusion skills? Post-fusion, their stats were broken. Defense and attack power went through the roof. There was no way Tianho could tank that. Get out of there, she screamed. The tornado roared closer. Reacting fast, the slime wrapped around Tianho's torso and launched him to safety. But the recoil was costly. The slime got caught in the vortex's pull. The moment it touched the winds, it was shredded, taking massive damage. Tianhao knew the stakes. One hit meant immediate game over. Shuai was already spiraling, sobbing and begging for a plan. Qing wasn't having it. You don't have permission to die yet, she snapped. She downed the mysterious vial in one gulp. The reaction was instant. Pebbles levitated off the ground as her body erupted in flames. She was becoming something unrecognizable. And yeah, she was topless now. Shuai rubbed her eyes in disbelief. Qing had morphed into a massive bear spirit avatar. Without hesitation, she launched herself straight at the tornado. Shuai took one look at the beast, froze, and straight up passed out. The shock fried her brain, and she hit the dirt. Qing herself was surprised. She didn't expect the elixir to unlock the legendary white bear form. Then she spotted Tianhao getting ragdolled inside the tornado. She knew she had to intervene. Skill-activated beast form White Bear. She let out a roar that shook the earth. Tianhao panicked, thinking another boss monster had just spawned. He screamed for Slime to retreat, but the little guy ignored him. Instead, Slime bolted forward, charging right into the danger zone. Tianhao's anxiety spiked. He couldn't shake the enemy off. Then a massive bear shadow eclipsed him from behind. His stomach dropped. He was dead, he was sure of it. He clenched his jaw, bracing for the killing blow. But nothing happened. He opened his eyes, totally unharmed. A voice cut through the chaos, calling his name. It was Qing. She had deployed a barrier, tanking the hammer strike for him. "Don't freeze up, attack," she yelled. Tianhao snapped out of it and triggered Slime's demonic embrace. Slime's tentacles exploded outward, thickening with raw power. Qing was impressed by the strength, but she blinked at the wrong second. The fused monster slammed into her, spinning up a fresh tornado. "Hurry it up," she shouted, realizing the situation was spiraling. Tianhao kept his cool. He wasn't about to fall for the same trick twice. He barked a command. Slime's tentacles shot out like harpoons, locking down the monster's limbs and strangling its neck. Tianhao clenched his fist. That was the signal. Boom. The monster detonated. Qing finally exhaled as the enemy dropped. "Talk about perfect timing," Tianhao panted, thanking her. "I was toast without you." His health bar was flashing critical red. But he had to ask why hadn't she used that bear transformation before Qing checked her status panel. She winced. Only 4,676 HP left. That was dangerously close to zero. She braced for the backlash. Agony ripped through her muscles, forcing her to her knees. She collapsed, hitting the ground hard. Tianhao scrambled over, shocked. Her body was reverting halfway to human form. She coughed up blood, and Tianhao watched her HP plummet to just 10 points. A stiff breeze would kill her now. He frantically grabbed a high-grade potion, helping her drink it slowly. Color started returning to her face. The white fur vanished completely, leaving her absolutely naked. Tianhao sighed with relief. Glad she was alive. Then his hand brushed against something soft. Realization hit him like a truck. His face went nuclear red. Qing looked up, confused until she saw him staring. Tianhao was blushing so hard. A nosebleed started streaming down. She looked down, realized she was exposed, and screamed "pervert." He tried to plead innocence, but she launched a haymaker before he could finish. He ate dirt immediately. Fully clothed now, she stalked toward him with a death glare. "That was assault," she hissed. "You breathe a word of this to anyone, and you're dead." Tianhao noticed her cheeks were burning red too. She was mortified. She grabbed him by the collar. "Did you hear me?" "Yes, I saw nothing, I swear," he squeaked. She finally dropped him. "Watch your mouth," she warned. Tianhao knew she wasn't bluffing. She stomped off to check on Shuai. Tianhao decided he was taking this secret to the grave. They found Shuai nearby, passed out and snoring. Tianhao stared in disbelief. "Who sleeps through a boss fight?" He shook her awake. She jolted up, screaming, "Don't eat me." Tianhao deadpanned. "If it wanted to eat you, would it really let you nap this?" Long Qing stepped in. "The monsters are wiped out. We're safe." Shuai blinked. "Really?" Tianhao nodded. Confirmation. Shuai tackled him in a tearful hug. "We're alive." Tianhao turned red again, stammering that Qing did all the heavy lifting. Qing immediately peeled Shuai off of him. "So what's the move?" Shuai asked. Tianhao got serious. The Black Abyss difficulty just spiked hard. Qing agreed. "More mobs and their stats are way higher than before." "What do we do?" Shuai worried. "We bail," Tianhao decided. "The odds are trash right now." Everyone nodded. No point throwing their lives away. Tianhao pulled up the system interface. A red warning flashed on the HUD, early exit penalty level reduction. He didn't care. He smashed the confirm button anyway. Access denied. The system rejected the command, leaving the entire squad paralyzed in shock. Suddenly, the interface glitched. The Black Abyss tag flickered and morphed into a terrifying new label, Special Difficulty Nightmare. Zhuai started shaking, realizing they were effectively locked in a death trap. "Chill out," Qing snapped, trying to keep her cool. "Difficulty, spike or not, this is still just the starter zone. It's not unplayable." Tianhao backed her up. "Check the stats, the level cap is the same. Just the difficulty curve got steeper." Zhuai wasn't buying it. "Are you kidding? The trash mobs were already tanky enough. Imagine the bosses now. We need to speedrun to level 10. Like right now." Tianhao kept his voice steady, avoiding the panic rising in his throat. But his gut was screaming that something was wrong. Qing signaled Zhuai to follow her. Zhuai looked at them, totally confused. "Why are we splitting the party?" Tianhao broke it down. "Solo grinding yields more XP. If we stick together, we split the gains." "I'm a summoner," he added. "I don't draw aggro directly, so I'm just dead weight to your DPS right now. Level up fast." It clicked. She nodded, trailing after Qing, promising to regroup once they hit the level cap. Tianhao was on his own. 1 hour later, he and his slime had wiped out a massive pack of wolves. The level up notification finally dinged for level 10, but he was running on fumes. Pure exhaustion. Even though the players were capped at 10, The Black Abyss system placed no limits on his summons. The catch, Tianhao knew his demon sacrifice talent, made leveling them a brutal grind. Growth was slow and painful. His demonic slime was currently sitting at beginner rank level 15. It was a beefy tank with 2,700 HP, 205 attack, 160 agility, and over 20 defense. Its kit was stacked corrosive slime, slime spit, demonic dance, split acid rain, and the ultimate demonic embrace. Even with that arsenal, Tianhao felt like a snail. Maybe it was his build. He checked his profile, title giant among men, class summoner. At level 10, his stats were decent, 2,050 HP, 800 mana, 80 attack, 180, intelligence 10, defense, 140, agility, and 34 luck. His S-tier talent was Demon Sacrifice. His main skill, full armament level 3, slashed mana costs, when shielding pets and doubled summon stats for 200 seconds. Currently, his roster consisted of 2 beasts, the demonic slime and an ice unicorn egg that was stuck on a cooldown timer 69 hours and 34 minutes until hatching. He needed that unicorn now. Another summon meant better odds. He desperately scrolled through a lore book, looking for a hatching exploit, and he actually found one. But before he could react, a pack of wolves circled him. The ground shook. Snow and rocks blasted into the air. This wasn't a normal mob. A boss was incoming. Tianhao's heart sank. It felt like the wandering corpse commander had woken up. Then a scream pierced the air. It was Jue and Qing running for their lives. Jue stumbled on the ice. Qing spun around to save her popping spirit cat Shadow Step. But it was too late. The monster's impact sent them flying. Jue was completely out of mana, helpless against the follow-up strike. Qing threw herself in front of Jue. A paralyzing shockwave locked her muscles. Bam! The hit connected, dealing minus 2,230 HP. Slime, go, Tianhao screamed. The blob shapeshifted into a safety net, catching the girls in midair. They landed soft, but it was close. Tianhao slid in. You guys alive? Qing gritted her teeth, clutching a numb, useless arm. Suddenly, a vortex of wind erupted nearby. Tianhao looked up to see massive glowing eyes piercing through the storm. The gale cleared, revealing a titan. The wandering corpse commander had evolved. It was far stronger than the vanilla version, and it looked eerily human. This was the nightmare version, the Lord of Winter Valley Abyss. Wandering corpse commander, level 10, 30,000 HP, 180 attack, 150 agility, and 20 defense. Its skill set was brutal, starting with Corruption Hammer, where basic hits applied a nasty debuff, 20% increased damage taken from the boss, for 10 seconds. Then there was Corpse Summon, spawning 2 zombies and 4 wolves every 100 seconds like clockwork, plus Ice Armor, which encased it in frost and boosted defense by 20. This thing was an ancient corpse fueled by dark magic hunting anything that moved. But it had a flaw, the glowing crystal core pulsing in its chest. That was the weak point. We can't tank, this Qing shouted. Run. But the boss slammed its foot down, and the escape route crumbled. System alert, battle initiated. Nightmare difficulty or not, it was still just a starter boss. Tianhao took a deep breath. If he could shatter that chest core, they had a shot. The boss roared, summoning its minions to wipe them out. It was on. Tianhao doesn't hesitate. He snaps a command, and the slime executes demonic dance. The mob of lesser monsters melts away like butter on a hot skillet. The slime surges toward the boss like a green missile. Tianhao triggers full armament, supercharging his gooey companion and doubling its stats in a heartbeat. We're talking health skyrocketing to 2,700 plus another 2,700. Attack hits 205 plus 205. Agility, 160 doubled. Defense, 20.1 plus 20. Boom. Split demonic dance and corrosive slime engaged. Suddenly, one blob becomes 2. They circle the boss like sharks before diving straight for its ankles. Squish. One slime gets stomped flat instantly. Tianhao's heart drops into his stomach. The second one doesn't fare any better. It gets punted into a boulder crunch and stays down. Tianhao screams for an immediate retreat. Reality check. The slime can't handle this. To make it worse, the boss calls in backup. Tianhao is out of options. Desperate times. He gambles on that acceleration summoning spell he skimmed earlier and starts chanting. The monster horde closes in. Clock's ticking. Death is inches away when slash, the enemies drop dead. Qing is back in the fight, but she's running on fumes, coughing up blood. Tianhao keeps chanting, ignoring the massive weapon raised above his head. He knows he's not going to make it. Wham. No. A blinding golden barrier erupts around them, shining like a supernova. Tianhao freezes, mind racing. Shuai screams, it's her defense aura. He sees the impact coming and braces for the worst. Hurry up, Shuai shrieks. Her shield is only level 1, it's paper thin against this beast. He spitfires the chant. Crack. The shield shatters. The boss's weapon smashes the earth, sending Shuai flying with the shockwave. Tianhao forces his eyes open. The egg is fracturing. Meanwhile, the brave little slime wraps itself around the boss's arm, buying precious seconds. Done. The chant is complete just as the slime gets ripped away. Suddenly, a piercing blue glow catches the boss's attention. The monster raises its weapon to crush them, but the radiance is blinding. Tian Hao watches jaw on the floor. It actually worked. A majestic unicorn steps out. The boss flinches its massive limbs, instantly flash frozen in ice. Qing, barely hanging on, senses the shift. The boss just hit its second phase. This is bad. Gasping for air, she whispers, "Run." Tian Hao ignores her and commands the unicorn to attack. The beast gallops forward, a violent vortex of wind swirling around its horn. It launches itself into the air. The crystal core in the boss's chest is already iced over. Crash. The unicorn shatters the frost and impales the core dead on. Instant deletion. The boss explodes into nothingness. Qing's eyes nearly pop out of her head. That thing had 30,000 health, and it got one shot. Even Tian Hao is shook. "How's that feel?" he asks. The frost unicorn just looks back cool as a cucumber. And get this, it's only level 1. Stats check: 500 health, 20, attack 15, agility and 10 defense. Its kit includes Charm Pierce and the ultimate move, Rainbow Horn. Tian Hao gives it a well-deserved head pat. "Good job, buddy." The slime squishes onto his back, radiating jealousy. "You too," he laughs, praising the gooey hero. Without the slime, they'd be pavement stains. He checks on the girls. Qing admits she never thought he would be the one saving her. She eyes the new summon. "Is that thing yours?" "It's absolutely terrifying." A level 1 summon clapping the Wandering Corpse commander insane. Even Tian Hao didn't expect that kind of DPS. Qing breaks it down. The commander is Dark Attribute. The unicorn is a rare dual type, Light and Frost. It's a total elemental counter. That explains the massive damage spike. Tian Hao nods, finally getting it. Then the system pings Wandering Corpse commander defeated. Mission accomplished. Time for the loot. Since they cleared it on Nightmare difficulty, the rewards are getting doubled. Cha-ching. World first clear. Clocked in at 3 hours and 27 minutes. They rake in the first clear bonus, the speedrun bonus, and a juicy one-hit kill attack bonus. Scoreboard closed, waiting for the drops. Whoosh. Tian Hao is suddenly yanked into a void of darkness. A creepy box floats before him. The Purgatory Spirit Cube. Legendary Summoner Gear. This is big. But the stats are cursed: attack -30, defense -50, agility -60. Only mana goes up by 200. What the hell? Tian Hao frowns. Why would a legendary nerf him? Then he reads the fine print. 3 active effects. Effect 1. Capture and seal the soul of a defeated enemy. Effect 2. Burn 5 souls. 2. Graft a dead soul onto a summoned creature. Effect 3 is locked until level 10. There's also a passive that kicks in at level 4. The description simply reads, "A dark warden of sin, a specter from the shadows." Tian Hao still hadn't cracked the code on his new powers. Suddenly, a flash overhead grabbed his focus. The Purgatory Spirit Cube fired a beam, locking onto its target. A new prisoner sat inside the Nightmare rank boss's soul. The Wandering Corpse commander was officially in the inventory. Auto loot engaged. Out of nowhere, a massive white wolf pounced. Tian Hao nearly jumped out of his skin. Then the beast morphed. It was just Qing cackling at his terror. He shouted, asking how the heck. Our resident cat girl was pulling off wolf tricks. Qing flashed her new drop, the immortal bird feather. An epic tier druid exclusive. We're talking double attack, double agility. Tian Hao scanned the stats and realized his own gear was trash by comparison. The feather also came with a passive buff, double transformation time. Active skill, 1. The Frost Wolf, form pure speed demon. Active skill 2, the Brown Bear, pure tank energy. But the final skill tapped into the Phoenix, unlocking the immortal bird fighter form. Catch as the debuffs are brutal. Tian Hao asked what that form actually did. Qing shrugged, she had no clue. But with those side effects, she wasn't eager to test drive it yet. Tian Hao told her to keep that card face down for now, especially since they were running on fumes. Suddenly, Zhuo shouted. They spun around. Something tiny was buzzing around the healer. Tian Hao squinted. What is that? Zhuo beamed. I'm not just a support anymore. A glowing pixie touched down on her hat. Zhuo was hyped about her new loot. The stats were broken. She'd completed the Sacran's magic hat, set a rare collection, including her old hat, plus a staff robe and necklace. The set bonus only kicked in when she wore the full drip. She'd never heard of Sacran, and neither had Qing. They decided to hit up the teacher after the dungeon run. Tian Hao read the fine print. Passive skill summons a guardian spirit, triples magic potency, and lets the pixie throw hands. The other active skills were still locked behind levels. He pointed at the pixie. That's gotta be Sacran. The passive buffs alone were insane. Comparing it to his own rewards, hurt. His cube felt underpowered. His summoned minions huddled close. Sensing his saltiness, Tian Hao cracked a smile. Whatever. If that unicorn hadn't hatched, they'd be dead. Qing reached out to pet the unicorn, but the beast swerved her hard. Yet it happily nuzzled Zhuo. Qing got salty, demanding to know why she was getting the cold shoulder. Tian Hao cut in, they needed to bounce. The abyss difficulty was glitching out. Staying was risky. He smashed the leave button. A teleport circle flared. Warped out. Warped in. Instantly, all eyes were on them. Every guy in the vicinity turned beet red. We're talking nosebleeds on sight. Tianhao didn't get it. He turned around to find the source of the thirst. A blue-haired stunner in a barely there goddess outfit stood there. Even Tianhao felt a nosebleed coming on. The woman stared right at him. Master, she tilted her head. Don't you know me? Brain blast, that was the unicorn. Meanwhile, over at the medic tent, a scout frantically reported to the instructor. Sir, we have a situation. The teacher braced for bad news. Someone just exited the black abyss. The teacher panicked. Casualties. Who's down? He went into crisis mode, ordering a rescue team. But the scout grabbed his arm. No sir, zero injuries. They're pristine. The teacher froze. Then, system notifications blew up the air. A world announcement rang out. Tianhao, Qing, and Zhuo just cleared the beginner black abyss. Cold Valley nightmare mode. Back at the gate, the unicorn turned waifu bowed to her master. Tianhao, he backed up, hands up. Whoa, personal space. She grabbed his hand. Do you not want me? Flustered, level 100. Just talk, don't get closer, Zhuo whispered to Qing. Are you seeing this? Qing stared at Tianhao's hand, which was accidentally pressing against the girl's chest. Her aura turned black. Rage mode activated. She transformed and lunged. You pervert, claws swinging. Zhuo asked if he needed a heal. He screamed, Zhuo, you're an angel. Unlike this violent maniac. Zhuo blushed, muttering, teammates help teammates. Qing scoffed and threw her jacket over the exposed girl. The unicorn froze up. Tianhao noticed the shift. What's wrong? Then they saw the suits approaching. The principal had arrived. The crowd glared at Tianhao, faces twisted with hostility. Before he could even breathe a word, Shuai casually dropped the intel that they were exposed. The principal caught wind of it. Suddenly, hands grabbed them from the shadows. The principal felt a disturbance in the air, but when he whipped around Ghost Town, Tianhao stood there, shook. The teacher had just warned him to keep a low profile or risk getting busted. But Qing suddenly screamed, demanding to know the stranger's identity. Tianhao frantically told her to chill and explained this guy was his mentor. The teacher locked eyes on the unicorn. Tianhao pressed for answers. The teacher dropped the bombshell. The black abyss was in full riot mode, leaving a trail of bodies. He pointed ahead, claiming they'd just located the source of the chaos. Tianhao realized the finger was pointing at him. The teacher grilled him. Did he really sign a pact with that beast inside the abyss? Tianhao asked how he figured it out. The teacher looked ready to faint. Forging a contract with that thing, and actually hatching the egg, that's a death magnet. The kid was done for. Tianhao desperately asked for a game plan. Game over. They were spotted. Suits swarmed them out of nowhere. The principal barked the order to take them down. The suits closed in. The principal clocked a specific man in the group and opened his mouth to interrogate him. But when the figure turned, the principal froze, recognizing the face instantly. He demanded an explanation. Telling the goons to back off, the teacher tried to reason with his senior brother, insisting Tianhao was one of their own. Tianhao's jaw dropped. His mentor and the principal were fellow disciples. The principal shut him down, cold, announcing that Tianhao, Qing, and Shuai were officially kicked out. The expulsion hit the trio like a physical blow. He made it formal. They demanded a reason. He icy stared them down, claiming principal's privilege. Tianhao snapped back, arguing that expelling them without an investigation was total nonsense. The teacher jumped in to defend him. He argued that Tianhao was an S-tier prodigy, a once-in-a-century build, and asked if the principal really wanted to throw away a student with that much potential. But the principal told him to get lost. He was taking them in. The principal was sweating under the pressure. Suddenly, a new mob materialized, circling them. A voice commanded everyone to freeze. The voice alone sent a shiver down the principal's spine. He spun toward the sound. Tianhao, Qing, and Shuai followed his gaze. The speaker stepped into the light. A girl in a gothic black dress clutching a black umbrella, flanked by a maid and a guard. She already knew Tianhao was the legend who cleared the black abyss on nightmare difficulty. Tianhao asked who the kid was. Calling her little girl instantly triggered her. She introduced herself as Anjing Yao, princess of the DuPont royalty. Tianhao looked blank. He had zero clue about this DuPont flex. The principal immediately switched to simp mode, bowing and scraping, promising the suspect was secured for interrogation. She shut him down and ordered their release. The maid stepped up, flashing a teleportation scroll. Their plan warped them straight back to the black abyss. The teacher was floored. He'd heard whispers about the century-hidden dungeon, Rift Valley Black Abyss, opening in a few days. But the royal family having a scroll this early, insane. His anxiety spiked. The Black Abyss was recommended for levels 20 to 50, and Tianhao was barely level 10. Entering now was a suicide run. Jing Yao suddenly sneered, calling Tianhao a peasant. She commanded him to join the DuPont royal family's exploration squad. Tianhao hit her with a hard no thanks. That rejection bruised her ego. The principal cut in, insisting he had to drag Tianhao back since he was technically still a student. That just annoyed Jing Yao. She hated being interrupted. The maid coolly reminded the principal that he had literally just expelled them. He stammered that the paperwork wasn't filed yet, so they were still under his jurisdiction. The maid stepped closer, radiating pressure, asking if he really wanted to defy the crown. The principal zipped his lip. Qing whispered to Tianhao, asking for the play. Jing Yao reminded Tianhao that the world was watching him. After his nightmare run, Tianhao scanned the area, guards everywhere. Shuai and Qing looked terrified. Then Qing dropped a bomb she was in. Tianhao was stunned. She explained that staying here meant getting arrested anyway, so they might as well roll the dice. Jing Yao demanded Tianhao's final answer. The teacher begged him not to do it. Going into the abyss now was a death sentence. Tianhao weighed his options. He chose the mission. Seeing Shuai cave to peer pressure and join too, Jing Yao smirked with satisfaction. The maid ordered Principal Feng to stand down. He had no cards left to play. The teacher pleaded with Feng to stop the madness. Feng said he tried, but it was out of his hands. The students were on their own. The teacher watched, filled with regret. One guard steps forward, radiating authority. I am Zuo Shang, captain of the DuPont Royal Swordsman Guard. Beside him stands the chief butler, Lucy. Her face is stone cold, but the aura she gives off screams raw power. Squad assembled, Jing Yao signals the move. Suddenly, a violent tornado rips open the air right in front of them. In a blink, they're warped into a sprawling corridor, where a legion of maids instantly bows to Jing Yao. A colossal door groans open, revealing a chamber so dripping with luxury, it leaves the team breathless. Shuai nudges Qing, keeping his voice low. The vibe is wrong. Before she can reply, the air turns heavy. They freeze. Click. Swords and guns lock onto them from every angle. Jing Yao cackles, mocking them. Freshmen are just too easy to play. She snaps a command to Lucy, but boom, green slime explodes out of nowhere, restraining the royals before they can twitch. Lucy's eyes widen in pure terror at the slime's twisted grin. Meanwhile, Tianhao just locks eyes with Jing Yao. What's the play here? Jing Yao freezes. He knew. He totally knew. She snaps her fingers, signaling a stand down, and the slime instantly frees Lucy and Shang. Tianhao had clocked the ambush miles away. Look at Shang chill on the outside, but his thumb never left that katana's hilt. And Lucy, her hand hovered over her piece the whole time. That is the squad that crushed the Black Abyss on nightmare difficulty for you. Their instincts are razor sharp. Jing Yao tilts her head, genuinely curious. My guys were trapped. Why let them go? His summons had the upper hand, sure. But Tianhao keeps it real. We are on your turf. If we throw hands here, it's going to be a bloodbath for both sides. As he speaks, the maids silently box them in, daggers sliding into their palms. He smirks. You might outlevel us, but don't think for a second we won't bite back. Lucy bows stiffly. The princess merely needed to verify your power. We apologize. Qing rolls, her eyes salty about the fake betrayal. Jing Yao claps her hands, pivoting instantly. Now whose hungry lunch is served? As they exit, Qing leans in, whispering, these royals are snaky. I don't buy the nice act. We can take them, she insists. Tianhao shakes his head. If I strike first, you know who drops dead? You girls. First thing. He eyes the royals ahead. Stay frosty. Let's see what their endgame is. Strolling down the corridor, massive murals loom over them. Shang gestures to the art. That is the DuPont legacy. These guys have been ruling for thousands of years. Their founding father, a summoner. Back when the Dark Abyss first cracked open, chaos reigned. The DuPonts led 3 royal houses to seal the breach. But the final boss battle, total wipeout. Jing Yao's great-grandpa got his soul pulverized. Since then, summoners lost their link to spirit stones. That is why our class is trashed here now. Until Tianhao shows up. The first S-class anomaly in 1,000 years. They step into the dining hall, and the realization hits. Tianhao is the prize. A dark thought creeps in. Is he the main course? A sacrifice to those angry ancestors. Tianhao looks at her like she is crazy. Lay off the fanfiction. But then he sees the spread. Whoa. Shuai and Qing are equally floored. The opulence is blinding gold everywhere, food piled high. They sit. Tianhao skips the small talk. How can I help? Jing Yao leans forward. There is a hidden dungeon. It holds the secrets of that lost battle, and you, Tianhao, are the key. Lucy chimes in. It's high level, but we will be your meat shields. You keep the loot, she adds. Shang cracks his knuckles. Don't worry, we pull our weight. With our crystal-grade gear, it's a done deal. Tianhao narrows his eyes. Hold up. How do you know what gear we are rocking? Jing Yao points a manicured finger at his head. That hat, it is the Typhoon Royalty Sage Relic, top-tier item in the Sakura's Omen set. Shuai immediately clutches the hat like it is his baby. For real, he gasps. Details later, Jing Yao cuts in. Plates are clean. Time to roll. The vibe shifts instantly. The massive dining table levitates, revealing the floor beneath. A glowing, complex magic circle pulses on the ground. Jing Yao nods. Lucy steps dead center. Here it comes, Shang warns. Lucy begins to channel mana, crackling around her. Her muscles ripple with raw energy. She unfurls a scroll. Boom! Violent winds tear through the room, followed by blinding light. The brightness consumes them. Next thing they know, they are crossing the threshold. "See you on the other side," Princess Lucy calls out. Jing Yao turns to Tian Hao. "Ready." The squad stays tense. The trust meter is still at 0, but she can see it in his eyes. Tian Hao knows exactly how high the stakes are. She prayed. He caught the vision before vanishing into the warp. Shuai whispered to Qing, asking for a game plan. Qing kept her mouth shut. Then Tian Hao dropped the bomb. "We're going in." That threw both of them for a loop. He broke it down. "Let the heavy hitters take the heat." Smart play. Then he locked eyes with them. "As long as I'm breathing, nobody touches you." Instant blush. Total riz. With hearts racing, the trio synchronized their jump into the unknown. Back at the Holy Golden Lion Union Hang, the mage delivered the nightmare fuel to his boss. Confirmation just hit. That the hidden Black Abyss dungeon wasn't just cleared the level 80 nightmare boss. Was dust. Murong Shuai and the crew were shook. Yi went nuclear. All that dungeon loot, gone. The boss drops. Snapped up. He wanted blood and payback. The boss roared for silence. They were acting like amateurs outside the dungeon, and his disappointment was palpable. Murong Shuai clapped back, pinning the failed raid squarely on Tian Hao. "We just gonna let him walk?" she demanded. Her vibe shifted to unease while Yu stayed mute. Suddenly a manic cackle ripped through the hall. A figure strutted in dripping with magician aesthetics, claiming he loved the loyalty. Yu instantly bent the knee to the union president. The prez offered a shot at redemption. He tossed them a teleport scroll straight to the hidden Rift Valley Black Abyss. He hyped up the loot, promising god-tier power gains for anyone who survived the grind. The squad was petrified. The Rift Valley Black Abyss was a level 10 to 50 death trap. That level gap was insane. Murong Shuai knew they were looking at a guaranteed game over. Plus, reliable intel confirmed the major unions and the 4 great royal families were joining the treasure hunt. Naturally, the Holy Golden Lion Union couldn't sit on the sidelines, but the prez kept it real. Right now his team was trash. Too weak for the abyss. But he had a plan. He unleashed his aura, whipping up a violent cyclone. The crew got sucked in, faces warping in agony. Yu raised a hand and with one motion, obliterated the wall. Meanwhile, Tian Hao and the girls stepped out of the portal. They scanned the area. They faced 2 towering statues guarding a massive dimensional rift. The landscape. Total apocalyptic wasteland. Jing Yao gave props to Tian Hao's strategy. It made her wonder if the legends were actually legit. Tian Hao looked confused until she slid a card into his hand. A legendary grade summon card. It spawns 3 shadow soldiers who fight till they drop. Tian Hao froze. He couldn't process that she just handed over something worth a fortune. She shrugged it off, useless to them anyway. She needed him to pop it to boost the team's DPS. Tian Hao inspected the loot, hesitated a beat, then triggered it. Light exploded, wrapping him in a cocoon. When the glare died, 3 stunning women stood there, rocking eye masks and color-coded hair, red, purple, and blue. Tian Hao turned tomato red instantly. Their curves were lethal, and the outfits left 0 to the imagination. Dude straight up got a nosebleed. Qing snapped him out of his trance when she spotted the drip. Tian Hao frantically wiped his face, muttering, "That legendary card is huge." He quickly remixed that to powerful. The trio stepped in, purring master and invading his personal space. Tian Hao panicked, begging for space because his heart couldn't take it. Suddenly, Shuang's instinct screamed, "Ambush." He ripped a dragon-soaring horizontal slash. Shuai and Qing jumped. Lucy blitzed to Jing Yao's side for protection. Jing Yao smirked, noting Tian Hao was still a total noob for missing the threat. Tian Hao whipped his head around. Boom. Explosion in the distance. Shuang ID'd the threat, Mad Demon Hedgehog level 30. Shuai went ghost pale. Shuang warned this was just the warm-up. A pack of spikes charged them. Lucy clocked one, closing the gap. She punted its head skyward. As it went airborne, its belly split open, exposing a nightmare of razor teeth. Lucy pulled her piece and blew it to bits mid-flight. Flankside Shuang squared up. He sliced another beast clean in half. The last one tried to tunnel underground. Tian Hao prepped his slime, but one of the summon girls beat him to it, launching herself forward. She brought her hammer down, turning the hedgehog into paste. Tian Hao was shook. Meanwhile, 2 more beasts rushed Jing Yao. She raised her hands, glowing with mana. A shimmering barrier materialized instantly. Witnessing that, "Defense class?" Tian Hao asked. She didn't answer. She just clenched her fists, and boom, the barrier detonated outward. She vaulted off her perch, sticking the landing. High-grade psychic, actually. That froze Tian Hao in his tracks. Wait, can she read my mind? Before he could spiral, the deafening roar of battle snapped him back to reality. Shui was down. Qing was shaking, her panic rising while Shang ran diagnostics. Lucy smirked at the newbie. "I bet your head is spinning with questions." "Save it," she cut herself off. "Right now, focus on deleting that monstrosity in front of us." Tian Hao spun around. The blood drained from his face. "What the hell is that?" It was a mountain of muscle, a boar the size of a tank. The beast screamed a sound like tearing metal. The Elite Boar King, level 30, 5,000 health points, 100 attack power, 220, agility, 50 defense. Ju and Qing were practically trembling just hearing the stats. Standard protocol says you need a 5-level lead just to survive a boss like this without getting wiped. Their faces screamed retreat, but it was too late. The king locked its gaze on the party. Aggro secured. Shang dropped into a stance and slashed at a tusk clang. Lucy unloaded her clip from the back line in perfect sync. Useless. Her bullets bounced off like pebbles. Jingyao stepped up, weaving fire mana into a massive detonation. Boom. They held their breath as the smoke faded. The Boar King stood there, barely scratched, and twice as pissed off. Qing did the math. At this DPS, they'd be grinding for 2 hours straight just to chip it down. Tianhao caught the tremor in Shang's grip. Is this thing really that unkillable? Even the royals sweat this boss. Shang looked gassed. My blade. It's not cutting deep enough. Physical damage is a joke to him, Jingyao explained. That's exactly why we drafted you, Tianhao. We need to crack its armor first. Shang and Lucy dove back into the fray. Suddenly, a light bulb went on in Tianhao's head. The Shadow Army isn't solid, they phase through cracks. Bypass the hide. Destroy it from the guts out. Jingyao's nod confirmed it. Tianhao realized he was the only win condition on this battlefield. Princess, we're running on fumes, Lucy yelled. Jingyao bit, her lip, stress lines forming. Morphing the Shadow Army burned mana like crazy. Even her grandfather, a legend, barely managed it back in the day. Got it. Tianhao barked orders. Cover me. Qing went beast mode, blurring forward to pull all the aggro. A Shadow Valkyrie launched skyward. Gravity took over, she brought her hammer down, smashing the king's skull. Jingyao gasped. He wasn't just summoning, he was buffing shadow weapons on the fly. Self-taught. The king shrieked in fury. The blue-haired summon didn't miss, she stuck the landing right on its tongue. The beast bit down, eyes wild. Big mistake. Spikes erupted from its insides, fatal, critical. Silence fell as the mountain of meat crashed to the ground. Tianhao blinked. Okay, didn't expect that to work that well. Shang stood there like a statue. Lucy looked like she'd seen a ghost. You don't just control shadows with that kind of precision. Not without centuries of bonding. Impossible. Jingyao broke the awkward silence. Ahem. Beginner's luck, she lied. She conveniently forgot to mention the Shadow Army's broken scouting perks. Shadows phased through terrain. The ultimate map hack. No one had ever fully mastered the skill. Say again, Tianhao interrupted, holding up a sketch. I already mapped it, but it's missing a few chunks. He was already scanning for the lag spots. The Rift Valley Black Abyss is a 500-year event, Jingyao whispered. It's a death trap. A 100% complete map doesn't exist. And his level was trash-capped at a 3,000-meter radius. Yet he held the most detailed chart seen in centuries. Is the prophecy real? The thought hung in the air. Jingyao gave a subtle nod toward Tianhao. Your grimoire, she asked, voice steady. What tier is it? Tianhao tilted his head. Tier. Lucy rolled her eyes. The starter pack. The junk the Summoner Association hands out to noobs at registration. You got one. Tianhao looked blank. I have a book. But the association didn't give it to me. My master left it. Shang's eyes widened. The pieces clicked. That beat-up old thing. He cleared the cold abyss on nightmare mode. With that, okay, the kid's not just good. He's a prodigy. Jingyao tossed him a new tome. Thanks. How's this work? Just feed it mana, she instructed. He channeled his energy. The gem on the cover flared to life, blindingly bright. Is it supposed to do that? The energy surge was suffocating. Jingyao, Lucy, Shang, they didn't just stumble. The pressure forced them to their knees. They dropped the L-bomb, undying loyalty. Tianhao was totally blindsided. Suddenly, the tome in his hands flared up, blindingly bright. Lucy and Jingyao froze, eyes locked on the artifact. The pages started whipping open by themselves, a frenzy of parchment. Tianhao just let it rip. Light exploded outward, projecting holographic beast profiles. It wasn't just a book. It was live tracking every summon in range. Snap. A page settled, displaying a full stat block for the slime. Snap. It turned again. Boom, ice unicorn specs fully analyzed. This thing was basically an auto-updating Pokedex for his entire arsenal. Jingyao tensed up, sensing the power. For Tianhao, this was a cheat code, a living encyclopedia. Master, is something wrong? Jingyao's voice trembled. We're good, he dismissed the concern. On your feet. Now spill the tea on this grimoire. We don't know the full specs, Jingyao admitted, just that an ancient sage left it behind eons ago. When the final battle ended, summoner lore was wiped from history. The class basically went extinct. This artifact drifted for 500 years, until my grandfather found it. He guarded it like it was the Holy Grail. He wasted his whole life studying it. Best he could do, make the gem flicker a weak little light. Lucy chimed in. The former king barely scratched the surface, yet that scrap of power made him a top-tier warlord. Jingyao's eyes burned. This is it. The summoner class can finally make a comeback. Thanks to the king's grind, the DuPont family commanded respect across every nation. On his deathbed, the king was desperate. He needed an heir worthy of the legacy. He failed. And the moment he died, enemy nations started circling like vultures. That's why we hunted you down, Tianhao. We need a savior. If you, the Lord Summoner, agree to back us, then I, Princess of House DuPont, pledge our entire bloodline to your service. Tianhao didn't look impressed. In fact, he looked annoyed. So they'd been testing him, playing games, and now that they're desperate, they finally decide to kneel. Guilty as charged, she confessed, bowing low. Punish me. Lucy panicked. Please, mercy, my lord. We've been headhunting for years, Lucy cried, but every candidate was trash. Scammers, useless noobs, total failures. The royal family. We blew a fortune on them for zero ROI. We're broke on hope. We couldn't gamble anymore. Silence, Jingyao snapped. Tianhao raised an eyebrow. Weren't you worried I was just another fake? Negative, Jingyao said, voice steady. You're the only one in 100 years to make the jewel blaze like a supernova. Grandfather prophesied it. The one the book chooses becomes the king of DuPont. Nobody else took a crack at it, Tianhao asked. Plenty tried, Jingyao sighed. But they were already soul-bound to trash-tier grimoires. And once you're bound, you're stuck. Unless you level up, you can't swap gear. Forced binding, tried it. Total catastrophe. But you were a blank slate. No, association registry. That's why the sync worked. Wrong, Tianhao cut in. I earned it. Jingyao's expression darkened. If the book rejected you, you would have died instantly. Tianhao froze. So failure wasn't just rejection, it was a death sentence. They groveled again, terrified. Quit the kneeling, he barked. Get up, it's annoying. I'm not going to execute you. Relax. They scrambled to their feet. Jingyao hesitated, then asked, So, what secrets are in there? Tianhao smirked. Right, he had a mind reader on the payroll now. He locked eyes with her and unleashed his aura. You're the psychic, he challenged. Read my mind. Do it. It was a dare. How bold was she? Jingyao went pale. I wouldn't dare. Even if I had the guts, I'd never invade your privacy, master. A loyal subject obeys orders, he said coldly. Read it. Trembling, she forced her mind open. Terror. Pure, unadulterated terror hit her. Her knees buckled and she lost bladder control right there. Lucy caught her before she hit the floor. The vision, nightmare fuel. Tianhao stood in a vortex of blood-red energy demons clawing at his limbs. They were draped over his back, latching onto his legs. Hideous. Lucy shook her. Princess, what did you see? Jingyao stared at Tianhao with wide, haunted eyes. Explain, he commanded softly. A red devil, she whispered, descending to earth, to burn the world and start a revolution. Tianhao rolled his eyes. I said, read my mind, not write fanfiction. She bowed, shivering. No, I saw it. A crimson demon standing right behind you. He pointed to his shoulder. This little guy, he asked, referencing his pet. You're calling this cutie a demon, my grandfather warned me, she stammered. When the red devil appears, the world drowns in blood. She finally realized the DuPont legends were terrifyingly real. All just to serve him, Tianhao started thinking this girl had lost her marbles. Zero logic here. Prioritizing the loot, he whipped out his cube to harvest the monster's soul, ripping the essence right out of the carcass. Jingyao's face drained of color as she watched Tianhao pocket his second elite soul. His mind started racing. What if he fused a soul into a summon? Suddenly, the chatter stopped. The silence hit him like a brick. She lunged forward, wrapping him in a tight embrace, pressing her curves right against him. Boom, instant tomato face and a nosebleed. She swore a blood oath to tank any danger for him starting now. That snapped a nerve in Qing. Qing exploded, screaming at her to get her hands off him, barking that she didn't have the clearance to touch him. Jingyao clapped back, calling Qing a peasant and telling her to zip it, staking her claim that Tianhao was her property. That poured gas on the fire. Tianhao physically peeled Jingyao off him, roaring at both of them to chill out. He reminded them they were literally inside a danger zone. Jingyao chirped a happy confirmation. He scrubbed the blood off his face and hit her with the big question. Why drag him into this rift dungeon to begin with? Before she could spill the tea, Shun and Lucy's senses spiked. They screamed a warning just as an arrow screamed through the air. Tianhao's purgatory spirit cube reacted instantly, firing a violet beam that detonated the projectile mid-air. As the cube leaked a creepy mist, Tianhao barked into the shadows, demanding an ID. A voice echoed back, sounding way too happy about tracking him down. He waited for the figure to emerge, but jaw drops went around the room when Song Xiaolan from the Golden Saint Lion Guild stepped into the light. Confused, they demanded to know her entry method. She just smirked. She admitted he was a slippery target, but news travels fast when you smoke the hidden boss of the Cold Valley Abyss. Letting another arrow fly, she taunted that his luck had run dry. But she wasn't aiming at them, she shot straight up. The projectile burst into a flaming skull signal. She announced the Rift Gem was their prize. Tianhao shot a confused look at Jingyao Rift Gem. Jingyao shot daggers at Xiaolan. She told Tianhao she'd brief him later, but right now he needed to know one thing. Xiaolan is a monster. Lucy didn't wait for introductions. She whipped out her miniguns, looking to end this fast, and squeezed the triggers. She unleashed a dual-wheeled lead storm. Tianhao stared at the DPS, but Xiaolan, she didn't even flinch. She just stood there smiling, as the bullets pinged off her like harmless pebbles. Tianhao went ghost white. He never expected modern firepower to pull 0 damage. A crackling electric barrier shimmered around Xiaolan. Lucy froze brain-broken. Xiaolan cackled at their shock. She flashed her gear, a platinum-grade obsidian bracelet. Translation immunity to all physical damage under level 50. Didn't matter how big the gun was, it was trash against that armor. Tianhao started questioning reality. Was this actually the Song's Yaolan from the guild? Her vibe was completely alien. Hand raised, she triggered Dark Rainstorm. One arrow split into hundreds, raining death from above. Lucy stood her ground. Trusting her refined steel weapons to act as a shield, she scoffed at the incoming volley. Big mistake. The arrows shredded her defense like paper piercing right into her flesh. Shun dashed in blade, flashing to parry the rest. Jingyao panicked, while Jue rushed over to drop some heals. Lucy gasped that the arrows were bugged or something. Luckily, her cleric build had high defense stats, or she'd be a corpse right now. Tianhao couldn't compute the math. How did Xiaolan get this buff? She was steamrolling Lucy. And Lucy was level 30. Xiaolan sneered, telling them to quit the futile resistance, and demanded the goods. Hand it over, and she might let them live. Shun, sick of her ego, decided to end this with a one-shot kill. He procced break cross slash. Xiaolan reacted instantly, countering with void-piercing arrow and letting the string snap. The attacks collided head-on, but her aura shattered his slash-like glass. Then came the follow-up shot straight for his face. He barely blocked it with his blade, but the impact was like a freight train. His hands shook violently, knees buckling under the pressure. Xiaolan laughed, calling level 30 rookie numbers. Tianhao realized her entire class build had changed. He turned to Jingyao. How is it even possible to switch classes a second time? She started to say it was impossible, then her blood ran cold. It hit her. Xiaolan cut a deal with the Lord of the Abyss. Qing chimed in. She'd heard the rumors. You sign a contract with the Abyss Lord to re-roll your class, but the price tag is your actual soul. Xiaolan cackled, saying the trivia didn't matter. They were all about to be dead anyway. Spooling up void-piercing arrow again, she charged. A tsunami of arrows flew as purple energy tore the earth apart. Arrows rained down in a chaotic storm, decimating the Shadow Legion instantly. Jingyao was seeing red. Xiaolan clocked Jingyao as a legitimate threat, a realization that forced her hand. She had to go nuclear. She triggered a forbidden technique, a move that wreaked havoc on the user's body. It had a hard limit, 3 uses only, but she was betting everything on a one-shot kill. She unleashed a manic, frenzied bow strike. Lucy just stood there unbothered as the death volley approached. Energy swirled around Lucy, forming a vortex that swallowed every single projectile. Xiaolan froze in disbelief. Then came the Uno reverse card. Lucy hurled the arrows right back at her. Xiaolan realized she was in deep trouble. She hit the deck, crouching low to tank the counterattack. Her defensive barrier started fracturing under the pressure. When the dust finally settled, she exhaled a shaky breath, battered but still breathing. Lucy glared down at her. You're not even worth my time. Annoyed, Xiaolan switched targets, locking onto Tianhao instead. She snapped a talisman in her grip. Blink. She teleported right behind him. Lucy screamed. She was going for the kill shot. Suddenly, the cube in Tianhao's hand buzzed violently. Boom! A Valkyrie clad in armor and wielding a colossal hammer materialized. Xiaolan's face drained of color. She didn't even have time to scream before that gigantic warhammer pancaked her. She was instantly reduced to a pile of dirt. Qing and Lucy stared, jaws on the floor. Qing snapped out of it first. Rushing over to heal him, she practically tackled him with a hug overflowing with relief that he was safe, which naturally triggered another massive nosebleed. His face went tomato red as she pressed against him. Jingyao smirked, noting, "That's a summoner for you. Low level, but he just clapped a boss that the DuPont Air couldn't handle." He pointed out that the royal prodigy failed to block a single hit. Lucy flushed and stammered an excuse, claiming she was just testing his potential by holding back. Jingyao rolled his eyes. "Right, sure you were." Tianhao finally mumbled, Qing, how long are we doing this?" Embarrassed, she scrambled back, giving him space. Tianhao looked at the Purgatory Spirit Cube with new respect. This thing was broken. He never expected the soul of a roaming corpse leader to be this OP. A timer popped up in his vision, reading 6 hours and 56 minutes. Just as he suspected, summoning a boss soul had a cooldown. Still, for a strike that devastating, totally worth the wait. If the corpse leader was this cracked, he shuddered to think what kind of damage the Bristle Pig King's soul could do. Lucy snapped him out of it, asking what was on his mind, and warning that if they loitered, vultures would swoop in and steal their loot. Tianhao pivoted, asking about the second job transfer. Logically, nobody's power level should spike that hard. Lucy scoffed, remarking that getting tagged by these scrubs was a stain on the DuPont family reputation. Lucy and Qing just nodded along. Less talking, more walking, she commanded. I'll brief you on the job transfer while we move. The trio exchanged glances and headed out. They marched forward. Meanwhile, in a frozen wasteland, a blond man chanted ancient words. Blood oozed from the earth, pooling into a glowing magic circle. Two minions behind him dropped to their knees, shaking in terror. He shot them a look that could freeze fire. Returning his focus to the ritual, the minions watched in horror as he dragged a woman out of the blood pool. He glared at her. She hung her head in shame. It was Xiaolan. Panic seized her the moment she recognized Murong Shui. It wasn't my fault, she pleaded. He was livid she couldn't even handle a summoner, who was levels beneath her even after her second evolution. She was officially useless to him. She begged for mercy, but his invisible force was already crushing her windpipe. Only her pact with the Lord of the Black Abyss kept her from being executed on the spot. He gave her one final shot. Fail me again and your dinner. He injected dark energy into a voodoo doll. She thanked him profusely for the spare life. He vanished toward the burial ground, leaving a chilling warning. She bowed deep until his presence faded. Her face twisted into a mask of pure rage. Tianhao dies. Meanwhile, Tianhao's squad entered a gloomy alley, strangely overgrown with vines and purple blossoms. Tianhao paused. How could this dead zone support life? Qing gasped, eyes lighting up. That's Lingzi grass, premium grade. They sell this in pharmacies. She couldn't fathom how it survived here. Jing Yao clarified that a single stalk could fetch hundreds of gold coins. Yet here they were common weeds. They exist for one reason, to keep her alive. That last part caught Tianhao's ear. Keep who alive? She revealed the truth. This place was the Rift Abyss's hidden dungeon. They had reached the endgame, the lair of the owner of the burial ground. She was a total legend, an OG pioneer in the war against the Black Abyss. But then she froze dead in her tracks. Open your eyes, she commanded. The spirit grass was rotting, corrupted by monsters until it was totally unsellable trash. She was devastated. She reached out to grab a stalk, but it instantly crumbled to ash in her grip. Lucy passed her a handkerchief, urging her to shake it off. They had to keep moving deeper into the dark. The tunnel felt endless, finally dumping them out into a massive cavern overflowing with spirit grass. Jing Yao dropped the truth bomb. This place is the dark secret behind the second-class change, the price of fighting the abyss. A woman stripped of everything was shackled to a tree. Qing stared in horror, stammering, "What is that?" "The Abyss Lord feeds here," Jing Yao explained grimly. "The second change exists because he drains the life force of the Ascended. That woman and her original squad were turned into human batteries. They're the fuel keeping the Abyss in this twisted state. The Lord siphons that energy, offering ordinary folks a shot at a class upgrade in exchange for their vitality. But it's a trap. Anyone who takes the upgrade gets their soul hijacked by demons. One wrong move, one act of rebellion, and snap, they turn you to dust on the spot." Tianhao's brow furrowed as the realization hit him like a truck she'd played him from the start. He couldn't wrap his head around her real motive for dragging him into this rift abyss. Suddenly she locked her fingers around his forearm, nails digging in. "I'm here to end this nightmare," Howie demanded. She stared him down. "We need a summoner's touch to awaken the final echoes, the hearts of the fallen legends. It's the only way to checkmate the Abyss Lord before he wipes us out." The moment Tianhao made contact, blinding golden energy erupted. It swirled and condensed right at the woman's chest, searing an ancient holy emblem into existence. "What kind of holy hacks are these?" Tianhao squinted. Lucy dropped the bombshell. "You're looking at the first generation. Human Saintess Jiang Qing. Tianhao's jaw hit the floor. He leaned in, analyzing the legend in the flesh. Jing Yao clocked the spirit stone, pulsing in his grip. "It's reacting to your aura. Your summoning potential is off the charts. S-rank summoner. That stone is basically your firewall." Suddenly the sleeping beauty snapped awake, eyes wide. "Give it back." Her face twisted into a mask of pure rage. The air turned heavy. "Back up, everyone," Tianhao warned, sensing the shift. The ground exploded. Carnivorous vines with razor teeth lashed out. Qing shifted instantly, dropping into a battle stance. Qing Shui didn't hesitate. She unleashed her aura, condensing it into a volatile sphere of pure destruction. Jing Yao's instincts screamed danger. She launched it. Crack. Their defensive barrier disintegrated like glass. Jing Yao and Tianhao were ragdolled through the air. They cratered into the mountainside. Dust everywhere. Jing Yao spat a curse. "What the hell is going on?" Tianhao groaned. "Shut up and mana charge me," she snapped, straddling his lap before he could process the physics of the situation. She pinned both his wrists down. Tianhao's face went nuclear red. How exactly do I transfer?" "Restoration magic." Now, she was desperate. He had a hunch what she meant, but really here. Shui Shang and Qing started panicking as Qing Shui charged up another nuke. Shang drew steel. He threw himself into the firing line, swinging his blade against the incoming beam in a do-or-die block. "Jing Yao, I can't tank this much longer," he roared. Jing Yao didn't look back. She shoved Tianhao down harder. Nothing else mattered. She dove in, smashing her lips against his. Tianhao's brain short-circuited. Soft, sweet, deadly. A stream of blood trickled from his nose, but instinct took over. He kissed her back. A pillar of gold light engulfed both of them. "Check that out," Shuai yelled. Qing face-palmed. "Get a room, you two." Jingyao tossed him aside like a used wrapper. "Playtime's over." She stood up, fully recharged and radiating menace. Her energy sphere ballooned, dense and crackling. A second power signature merged with it, doubling the intensity. The pressure was suffocating. Tianhao realized she hadn't just taken mana, she'd absorbed his spiritual essence to go Super Saiyan. Qing Shuai prepped a counter, but Jingyao cut her off coldly. "Dinosaurs like you don't belong in the new world. So do us a favor and fade away." Qing Shuai froze her energy, sputtering out in shock. Jingyao unleashed hell. She guided the blast with surgical precision, drilling straight through the ancient cleric. "Didn't think you had that much juice in you, kid," Jingyao smirked momentarily, dropping her guard. "Look out," Lucy pointed frantically. The falling Lingji herbs were swarming around Qing Shuai like magnets. "Quit twitching," Jingyao commanded. Instead, the enemy let out a blood-curdling screech, danger senses tingling. Boom! Sonic shockwaves hammered them. Jingyao took a direct hit. "Slime catch her," Tianhao shouted. The green blob snagged her mid-fall. "I'm fine," she wheezed, trying to force herself upright to keep brawling. Tianhao pushed her back down. "You've carried us enough. I'm not hiding behind a girl anymore." He glared at the ancient entity. "Relics of the past need to stay buried. The new gen is taking over." He stepped up, flanked by his slime and unicorn. Qing Shuai saw him and looked genuinely terrified. Fear turned to madness. She went berserk, charging energy. "Qing, back me up," Tianhao signaled. The death beam fired. Tianhao stood his ground. Crash. A colossal polar bear materialized out of nowhere, tanking the hit. The bear didn't budge. Tianhao blinked in disbelief. Shuai gasped. "That's the Cyclone Guardian spirit." "Your friend's a beast," Jingyao muttered. The bear roared, putting every ounce of muscle into the block. It deflected the beam, but the heat seared its paws. The form dissolved, revealing a battered Qing. "Finish it, hurry." Tianhao spotted the opening in the light sphere. "Eat this." Slime spit multiplied, drenching Qing Shuai in thick red adhesive. He vaulted onto his unicorn. Boar King Spirit Go, a spectral tusk manifested, driving forward like a freight train. Direct hit no. She caught the massive tusk with her bare hands, the impact tearing her robes and leaving her chest exposed. A luminous star sigil flared to life, catching Jingyao's sharp gaze. She didn't hesitate, screaming for Tianhao to smash that demon core instantly. Qing Shuai commanded the flora, twisting gnarled branches into a barricade to cut off Tianhao. Lucy and Shang started sweating bullets. Things were going south fast. The real Qing Shuai was gone, replaced by something twisted. Mocking their futile resistance, she unleashed a barrage of high-energy beams straight at our main character. Caught mid-air, Tianhao had zero leverage to dodge. He gritted his teeth, bracing for impact, but the pain never came. He cracked his eyes open to a shock. It was Qing. She'd morphed into a breathtaking ice fairy, acting as a living shield to tank the hit meant for him. Thank the gods for her wing regeneration skill. She screamed at him to go, and even though it tore Tianhao apart to leave her exposed, he had to make the play. He ordered his unicorn to unleash Rainbow Horn, and the beast instantly shifted into her demi-human battle form. Qing Shuai paralyzed with pure terror. The unicorn blitzed forward, driving that glowing horn dead center into her target. As she retracted the weapon, Qing Shuai let out a blood-curdling shriek. The demon core disintegrated, and a massive weight lifted off Tianhao's shoulders. Bullseye. The shadowy entity was violently purged from her vessel, screeching as it fled into the horizon. Lucy and Shang finally let out the breath they'd been holding, thinking the nightmare ended. But our MC wasn't taking chances. He locked eyes on Qing Shuai, needing to be absolutely certain, so he made the hard call. Tianhao deployed the Shadow Legion to lock her down, while Slime and her clone followed up instantly. Slowly, the madness faded from Qing Shuai's eyes, and she whispered, "A weak thank you for the rescue." Tianhao blinked, totally thrown off. He stepped in to check on her, but Jingyao's instincts screamed danger. She yelled for him to freeze. Too late. Qing Shuai reached out, grazing his cheek, before yanking him into a sudden, passionate kiss. Tianhao stiffened, completely blindsided, leaving the whole squad jaw-dropped and blushing. Suddenly, a brilliant golden aura enveloped the pair. She whispered that the world wasn't done with him yet, explaining she was transferring her final reserves of power. He stared back, totally lost. Her last words were a directive: seek the Black Abyss forest for the truth. Then right before his eyes, her physical form fractured into pure light particles. All that remained was a glowing orb in Tianhao's hand. It shot a data stream straight into his mind. He pulled up his status window, and his heart nearly stopped. He'd skyrocketed 10 whole levels. Even his beast inventory got an upgrade. He was rocking 4 slots now. Before he could process the gains, Slime glomped him. He asked if she wanted an upgrade too, and she nodded furiously. Demon Slime Tier 1. Hit level 15, with 2,700 HP, 205 attack, 160, agility, and 200 F1 defense. Her kit was stacked corrosive slime, slime spit, demon dance, split corrosive, acid raid, and demon embrace. Hitting intermediate stage required level 30, but a cross-level evolution demanded a double sacrifice and a 1600 HP threshold. He triggered demonic sacrifice, summoning a glowing runic circle beneath them. Confused by the ritual, Lucy and Shang sprang into action to guard Jingyao. Then boom, a blinding pillar of light erupted, swallowing the slime whole. As the glare subsided, Tianhao stood there, thunderstruck. The transformation was drastic. The cute blobby slime now had the curves of a fully grown woman. Our MC could barely process the sight, and wait, she could actually talk now. She lunged at him for a bear hug, burying his face right in her chest and turning him beet red. She tilted her head, asking what was up. He panicked, wiping a bloody nose and stammering for her to let go, while she happily said hi to the unicorn. Tianhao groaned, wondering why everyone else got badass monsters while he was stuck building a monster girl harem. Suddenly, Shuai screamed for help. Qing was collapsing. Tianhao's face went from embarrassed to terrified in a split second. He sprinted over, demanding answers. Shuai explained grimly that the immortal phoenix transformation carried a heavy price. Jingyao realized how bad it looked but tried to keep calm, mentioning that the DuPont Royals had elite healers. But before they could move, a stray arrow whistled through the air and punched straight through Zhuo's chest. Shuai stared down in absolute horror as agony ripped through her. Gasping, she cried out for Tianhao. Seeing her like that crushed Tianhao. Then Xiaolan stepped out of the shadows, looking genuinely annoyed that she was still breathing. A blur of motion appeared behind Shang. His instincts flared. He spun and slashed, but the shadow dissolved into smoke. Decloaking, a lethal female ninja appeared. Turns out she also had a bounty on Tianhao's head. Meanwhile, Shuai was shaking uncontrollably from the shock. Her pixie frantically tried to dislodge the arrow, but Shuai weakly whispered that she was just glad she met Tianhao. Lucy caught her before she hit the ground, shouting at Tianhao to cover them, while she started channeling a heal. Shang held the line at the rear, but the ninja didn't even give him a glance. She was locked on Tianhao. Jingyao jumped in the line of fire, begging him to get out of there while he still could. The teleport array needed another hour to charge. He was their only hope for the future, but Tianhao, he refused. His answer stunned her. Tianhao was seething, trembling with rage over his injured friends. He looked at the attackers and promised them hell. Jingyao is sweating bullets. She's clutching Qing Shuai's spirit stone like it's a grenade with the pin pulled. Every second she stays is a death sentence. But Tianhao, he chooses right now to see what he's made of. Xiaolan isn't having it. She laughs in his face, telling him to cut the tough guy act. You only lived last time because I felt generous, she spits. Time to show off that rebirth glow-up. The air crackles as she charges up a massive energy spike. Boom, a barrage of arrows screams toward them. Tianhao body checks Jingyao out of the kill zone. Xiaolan smirks. She thinks it's game over. This isn't just a love tap, it's a kill shot. But joke's on her. The demon slime literally snatches the arrow out of the air and gulps it down. Chomp. Skill unlock, Elemental Devour. Violent purple energy explodes from the slime. Tianhao's eyes go ice cold as he drops the warning. You hurt my squad, you pay in blood. He snaps a command to the slime. It's go time. Dissolution field online. The slime liquefies, flooding the floor like a toxic tidal wave. Xiaolan freezes, totally clueless. The ninja's instincts scream danger. She launches herself airborne just as the liquid expands. But Xiaolan, she's way too slow on the uptake. The slime drags her under, swallowing her whole. The ninja realizes the floor is instant death and drops her kusarigama to create a safe spot. She sticks the landing right on the weapon's hilt. Tianhao twists the knife. Dissolution field digest. Xiaolan shrieks, begging Murong for a miracle. It's gruesome. Her skin turns to dust, leaving nothing but a skeleton. The ninja sneers. Useless trash. Meanwhile, the demon slime looks like it just had a 5-star meal. Jingyao's jaw hits the floor. Tianhao is only level 21. How is he pulling off these apocalypse-level moves? That kind of power shouldn't be possible. As the acidic sludge recedes, the female ninja decides it's time to reorganize. She snaps her fingers, reclaiming her weapon. Her stance widens. Suddenly, she's dual-wielding 2 kusarigama. Things are getting real. Clang. She fuses them into a single, massive blade. Her eyes shift. Something dark is waking up inside her. Jingyao frowns. What the hell is happening? Massive black wings rip from the ninja's back. She looms over them, screaming that there is nowhere to run, and defying her means one thing: death. Tianhao ignores the drama and barks at the slime. Hit her with the dissolution field again. The slime dissolves, surging forward. The ninja just laughs. Cute. Now let me show you what actual hell looks like. Despite the trash talk, she looks rattled. She smashes her weapon into the earth, summoning a lightning storm. Crack. The ground splits wide open. A literal gate of hell tears the battlefield apart. It's pure chaos. Tianhao is overwhelmed, and the slime loses its footing, tumbling through the air. Poof, back to base form. Just before it hits bottom, the unicorn swoops in for the catch. Tianhao sprints over as the slime whimpers a quiet, "I'm sorry." The unicorn steps up, she wants to tag in. Tianhao pauses, the doubt written all over his face, and she sees it. Meanwhile, the ninja switches aggro. She was gunning for Tianhao, but now her laser focus locks onto Sheng. He's shielding Lucy and Shuai. She points a finger, "Go rot in hell." Sheng doesn't flinch. "A blade cuts iron," he muses. "But it can also sever the soul." She fires a blinding blue energy blast, screams across the map. It shreds everything in its path. Sheng blinks. He wasn't ready for that speed, but his warrior spirit flares up instantly. His arms are a blur, deflecting the impact. "Teesk," the ninja clicks her tongue. "Not bad, kid. You're tough." Then shock hits her face. Sheng triggers his ult Sword of the Heart Phantom Swift Slash. He vanishes. Zero distance in a heartbeat. Lucy and Jingyao gasp, hope rising in their chests, until the dust clears. The ninja hasn't got a scratch on her. She laughs. "Is that it? Cheap amateur tricks." She snatches Sheng by the throat. Crunch. He coughs up blood and lights out, instantly unconscious. She tosses him like a rag doll. She's done playing games. But Tianhao doesn't hesitate. He screams for the unicorn to hit her with Rainbow Horn. The unicorn is on her in a millisecond. But the ninja just swats the horn away with her weapon like it's a fly. "Enough," she roars. "I'm bored of this game." With a terrifying shockwave of force, she slams the unicorn backward. The beast crashes next to Tianhao. Jingyao is screaming her lungs out. "Run, you idiot, get out before we're all dead." Tianhao stands his ground. He's still got the Shadow Army and the Purgatory Spirit Cube, but she cuts him off. "Your toys can't scratch my defense." The unicorn whispers a plan. "Use demonic sacrifice." Tianhao freezes. She's already battered. This could kill her. "Trust me, master." He grits his teeth and nods. Demonic sacrifice activate. A crimson magic circle erupts, bathing the battlefield in blood-red light. Glowing red markings carve across the unicorn's hide. Her eyes burn crimson. She takes a step, and the earth shatters under her hoof. Evolution complete. Demonic Frost, Unicorn level 10. HP, 3,500. Attack 120. Agility 100. Defense 15. Loaded with Demonic Rainbow Horn and Frost Embrace. Frost Embrace unleashes burning ice straight from the 8 hells, stacking both frostbite and burn damage. Nasty. The ninja sneers, unimpressed. Another fool with a death wish. She raises her weapon, ready to end it. But something moves fast. Just a blur of light. Her eyes widen as she senses it, but it's already too late. Before she could even blink, her weapon crumbled to dust. A chill shot down her spine. The unicorn was already breathing down her neck. Tianhao instantly clocked the unicorn's insane power-up. He barked the command, "Don't let up, spam that demonic rainbow horn and keep her pinned." She gave a sharp nod and launched herself forward. Pure panic flooded the ninja's face as the beast closed the gap in a heartbeat. Boom, the rainbow horn connected. You could see the soul leave her eyes just before a massive hole ripped through her chest. She dropped like a sack of bricks. The unicorn peered down at the corpse, confirmed kill. Flipping the switch to good girl mode, she chirped happily and trotted back to Tianhao. But Tianhao's face went pale. He screamed, "Check your 6, look behind you." Weird glowing runes started leaking out of the ninja's corpse, wrapping around her like a mummy. Suddenly, flash, a blinding light exploded from her body. That laser blasted straight into the heavens, tearing the sky open. Everything went dark and a booming voice echoed from the thunderclouds, revealing the ultimate cheat code. She had signed a reincarnation contract. The cycle of rebirth just gave her a free respawn. Her eyes shot open. She was back. Wings unfurled with a terrifying whoosh. The whole squad froze in absolute horror. She glared down like a god dropping the bomb. "I cannot die." Tianhao's gut sank. If he didn't pull a miracle, now Qing and Shuai were toast. "Can't kill her." "Fine. Time for plan B." He locked eyes with his unicorn and signaled the new strategy. The ninja cackled. "What are you gonna do, Cry?" Tianhao ignored the trash talk, laser focused on her every move. He triggered Voice from Hell, a sound so loud it could shatter bones, ripped through the air. Even our MC was taking damage from the sheer intensity. They were running on fumes. Suddenly the slime bounced into the fray, bracing the unicorn and buffing her up for one final strike. The unicorn got the memo. The slime coated her legs like bioarmor, boosting her stats. Zoom. She launched at the ninja like a homing missile. Then she blinked out of existence. The ninja looked up, confused, only to feel strong arms lock her down from behind. "Gotcha." Tianhao screamed, "Frost, embrace now." An arctic blast erupted from the unicorn's mouth, instantly flash freezing the ninja into a living statue. Crack. The ice didn't just break. It took half her body with it. She shattered into a million bloody crystals. The unicorn watched the carnage unfold. Finally, the enemy's legs crumbled. She looked totally spent, running on empty, and turned to Tianhao, confirming the nightmare was over. Then the glorious notification popped up. Hidden quest, Black Abyss Burial Grounds, completed. The whole team paused, staring at the holographic screen as the system crunched the numbers. Results are in difficulty nightmare. Rewards doubled. Plus that sweet first clear bonus. and a speedrun bonus for clocking in at 16 hours and 45 minutes flat. The system teased a legendary hidden drop, but Tianhao didn't give a damn about the loot right now. He screamed for a teleport back to the city. Forget the gear, Qing, Shuai, and Shang were critically low on HP and fading fast. Lucy's voice trembled. She was manually keeping Shuai's heart beating, but she was losing him. It was now